Hello, fellow homebrewers. JP here, and I want to introduce to you the brand new Brewbuilt X1 Conical Series available at More Beer. More Beer sells the highest standard in homebrewing equipment, and the Brewbuilt Conicals are just that. They're made from mirror-polished 304 stainless steel, and they come with loads of features that you and I have been looking for. They have a full 2-inch bottom dump valve, which will eliminate your clogging issues, while the sturdy base includes 4 reinforced legs, just like those big Pro tanks do. More Beer also carries the Brewbuilt line of options and add-ons like casters, pressure kits, and even external glycol chillers. So you can find out more about the new Brewbuilt X1 Conical Unitanks by going over to morebeer.com for detailed videos on the entire line of Brewbuilt Conicals. You can trust Brewbuilt with your next fermentation, and you can trust More Beer to find the right conical for you. Brewbuilt at morebeer.com.
Today's Sunday session is brought to you thanks to the fine folks at More Beer. Visit them right now at morebeer.com.
I want people to believe in me, and I want people to believe in me when they taste my beer. That's what it's about.
You mean you laid underneath it and tried to
Put his tongue up the bung.
I like to actually scoop up the yeast and look at it.
7 o'clock came real early that next morning.
Yeah, man. Thanks for dumbing that down for us. You did an awesome job. It's all about food and beer.
Punch me in the junk. Man, that thing was thick.
The point is just beat it like it's your dick.
I like to smell it afterwards.
Are you being sarcastic right now?
Yeah. Bring your body armor.
I ran in my junk once on a ball valve in a kettle.
That's a true happy ending.
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Hey, everybody. It's The Session. That's right. The man is correct. We are here in Concord on a Monday evening, to talk to you about beer. And today, more importantly, Warren, we're talking about home brewing for once.
Oh, I remember doing that.
You remember when we used to talk about home brewing all the time?
Well, and also when I used to homebrew.
When you used to homebrew?
Yeah.
Oh, but now you can't. But now you have a different home, because I think you're at work probably more than you are at home.
Right. My home brewery became a 10-barrel brew house that I now live at.
Right.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Right. I've been brewing more at home than ever before.
Yeah, for sure. Today we welcome back the one and only Christopher Randall Graham into the studio. How you doing, Chris?
Wow, you remembered my middle name.
You think I would ever forget that?
Yes, please.
Here, push that right up into your face.
All right, there it is.
Thank you. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
You look great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You look maybe a little tired.
Yeah.
How many kids do you have? You have like 11 kids?
Just the 2.
Just the 2?
Yeah.
Oh, man. How's that going?
Hey, I'm alive.
Are they?
The hair is turning gray fast.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Every tantrum, you just feel another one go.
Yeah. And if you have ever wanted to see money go in a vacuum, this is exactly how you do it.
That's what I'm concerned about having a kid, man, is just the money vacuum. The money suck.
Yeah.
Just $250,000 a piece is all they
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. Before I even brought them home from the hospital, they were $2 million. Yeah. I'm not kidding you.
They were $2 million?
Yep.
Why? What do you mean?
They were in the NICU for over a month.
Oh, wow, and that cost that much money?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Healthcare is out of control. I mean, it didn't cost me. I don't have $2 million. So I would have been like, well, you keep them.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's all right, good. That's a lot of racking canes to sell, man. Well, that's good. I'm glad everyone's healthy and happy and, getting you gray hairs faster, man. You look too young.
Appreciate it.
That's what it is. And so we need you to look like the rest of us, just pathetic and wrinkly and gray haired.
I'm working on it.
Okay. All right, well, that's good. But you're going to talk to us today about, first of all, brewing like a poor bastard, and then brewing like a baller.
Yeah.
Essentially, right?
Same guy.
Yeah, same guy. But depends on where you're at in life.
Yeah, it's kind of like we'll do it in the opposite order of having kids. It's like you could do that before them, Then afterwards, you're screwed.
Yeah, right. This is exactly. A brew. This is what you can do if you have a lot of disposable income, and this is what happens after kids.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited about this because we've done the brewing on the cheap with you. I think twice now, maybe.
Twice.
Twice.
The first one in 2000. I don't even know, 7 or 8, and then 2010. I had to look these up.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Notes.
Okay.
And so it's been a while.
It's been a while, man. But we've never done the brewing, the baller brewing. We've never done like the expensive, high-end kind of thing before. We've done with the sculptures, with the brew sculptures.
But now's the time.
But now's the time.
There's so much good baller stuff out there right now.
Right. And and I noticed this at NHC, walking the floor, when I saw you had like 11 booths next to each other, and you had everything under the sun. And I was like, what happened here? I missed some sort of like, I don't know, quantum leap forward in home brewing somewhere along the line, because we kind of just defaulted to craft beer talk and like interviewing breweries and stuff like that, and we don't touch on too much homebrew stuff, and so we're trying to get it back there from time to time, but nobody brews anymore, really. Like I brewed like a Grodzitsky, like a smoked beer, and that's kind of it. Like we don't talk about homebrew at all. So
we have
I'm
a
happy
little bit
that you're
of selection
here
nowadays to have at home or wherever.
What's that?
We now have a little more selection than we did, 7 years ago.
Oh, equipment-wise and stuff like that?
Beer-wise.
Commercial beer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'll steal a line from my favorite person, Pushy Jack. He goes, my home brewery is my liquor store. It's because it's just...
We all supplement that way.
Yeah, that's true.
I too brew at work, Warren.
Oh, wow.
That's how I get around the kid law. I just brew at work.
Yeah, and that's what you do.
Yeah.
Man, well, before we get too far afield, I want to thank our sponsor, More Beer.
Hey.
And you can get absolutely everything you need to make great beer at home by going to morebeer.com. And today's show will drive that point home more than any other live read or any other thing that we've ever done. Because they have some cool stuff, man. It's if you've been missing out on the More Beer train, pay attention to the show. They have a lot of cool stuff.
I'll be fair and equitable too.
What's that?
I'll be fair and equitable. I got other names in here.
Uh-oh. I appreciate that. Today's show, like I said, we're talking to Chris Graham, but we're also talking to two other people. We're going to talk to Vinny from Russian River, and we're going to talk to Shady Steve from Shady Oak Barrel House, and we're going to talk to them about the giant fires that we're having up north and the way that people, the brewing industry in particular, are rallying around the people up there and really trying to make a difference and really trying to raise money. And these two companies are going about it two different ways. And, I like spreading the love and spreading the information around. For those of you who don't know, we've been under attack, I guess, flame attack since last Sunday. Flame attack, sure.
Yeah, I think that's what they're calling that.
Yeah, sure.
Wildfires,
well,
some would say.
You could say that too, but if you want to take poetic license, you can call it flame attack.
Well, you should go back to poetic driver's training.
Fuck, that sucks. It's in, wine country is what Sonoma and Napa is typically called, but there's a lot of award-winning, high-quality breweries up there.
Yeah.
And so there, there's Russian River, of course. There's Bear Republic, Shady Oak, and
Third Street Ale
Works, and a whole bunch of other places like that. But just in case you guys, didn't really know what was going on, I mean, what are they saying? The damage is like 100 miles wide. At its widest point. Yeah. It's a giant scar across the state of California. It's some of them are mostly contained, like the big fire in they're calling it the Tubbs fire up in Napa. That's 60% contained apparently. The Sonoma Solano fire has burned 51,000 acres, and it's at 56%. It's halfway done, and it's burning 51,000 acres. Like it's just crazy. And there's a whole bunch of other little tiny fires that are at 15, 30%, and 80%, 90%. Some of them are actually 100% contained. So that's great. But, I mean, thousands and thousands of people have been displaced and lost their homes, and it's really tragic. And anyway, so I want to take this time to just totally bring the show down.
Yeah, way to start the show.
Yeah. But we're going to be talking to those two people later on, and you guys can learn how to get involved. And if you want to, get some cool stuff for giving, or buy some beer and have all those proceeds go to helping these poor people up here in Northern California, we would really appreciate it. Today is, or this point in the show, is where we would normally do feedback, but I got zero feedback this week. None.
Justin and I did such a great job last week.
There's
no feedback.
Did you do feedback last week?
No, we didn't.
You didn't?
Well,
did you do
Vivo and
last
Sam
week?
had computers.
Oh.
But we didn't have computers to read anything from. So I don't think we did.
No, feedback was not done. I was not given feedback.
Oh, well, let's do
You can read last week's
feedback
feedback
from last week, then.
Oh.
Fuck, this saved us. Okay, well, here we go. The feedback today is brought to you by the Beer Law Center. John at the Beer Law Center is right for you. What's he right for? Who knows? Call him up and ask him. Email him, john at thebeerlawcenter.com. He has a book forthcoming, forward written by me, Chris Graham. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Oh.
Yeah. About law.
He's a paralegal.
You can write.
Yeah, I can write, and I can write very well. I could, like a fire attack.
Right.
I made that up. That's what I wrote. I wrote that
he penned
mentally.
that.
Yeah.
You make up some law terms in there.
Yeah, and yes, I wrote the foreword to his book, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see it in print.
Excellent.
Yeah, instead of just on my computer. Anyway, I get jazzed about it. So thank you to John at the Beer Law Center for sponsoring this segment we call Feedback. This is from Ryan. He says, hello, insert positive or degrading greeting to the BN team. Remember when Flying Dog won a GABF medal on Saturday, but the BA wouldn't read the inappropriate name? Me neither. I guess that's saying, like, all this hullabaloo about Flying Dog pulling out of the BA because they wouldn't read their name.
Oh, right.
And then they actually didn't win anything.
Well, and they read a couple that were innuendos.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember what they were?
Something with your
rock out with my Bach out.
Oh,
they read.
How is that not offensive? I'm offended.
I don't know. Yeah, right. For all those people that don't have my box.
Right.
My favorite part was when there was something about it was a reference to the Charlie Murphy F Your Couch, but the guy reading it didn't get it. And he's like, there must be an inside joke.
I think something like Funk Your Couch or something
like that.
Funk Your Couch.
Yeah,
that's pretty dry. Last Sunday session, even though these are Monday, Ryan, come on, bro. When discussing Beardy's Oktoberfest, you discussed the residual sweetness of that beer, and also earlier the perceived sweetness of the Kolsch. I recently homebrewed a Kolsch fermented at 60 degrees. I agree with your WOP 029 fermentation temp. I think there's a lot of ideas in this one sentence here.
We're still in the same sentence, right?
I don't know. They had a finishing sweetness despite finishing at the target gravity. What are your suggestions to dry this out? I'm assuming he's talking to you, Warren, because apparently this is about your beers. He said 10 pounds of pills, half pound of Vienna, 21 IBUs bittering at 60 minutes with German Magnum, and 2.7 IBUs at 20 minutes with Hallertau Mittelfrüh. Should I increase the IBU, replace some malt with wheat or two-row? Mash was already at 150. Do I go lower? Long story short, too late. How would you cut perceived sweetness in a beer that is already at expected attenuation? Thanks, Ryan.
Well, what's expected? Because there's a whole range that Kolsch can finish at.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
that's a good point.
Some are on the sweeter side, and some are on the drier side. I prefer mine on the drier side.
Yeah.
Down around 10.08, 10.10.
10.
It's a special gravity for Kolsch's. Yeah. So, I mean, that's where mine finishes, around 10.10, 10 and a quarter-ish. Essentially, like, I measure it in Play-Doh. I'm converting it on the fly.
Okay.
And so I'm happy with a Kolsch that's around 10.10. I don't know what he's targeting.
Yeah, I guess without that information, that's hard to judge. So if it's
the issue that you can have if you are fermenting that low, since he said he liked fermenting at sub 60 degrees like I did, or at least mentioned it.
Yeah.
If you don't have a lot of healthy yeast, you could probably have a little bit of attenuation issues, or attenuate on the lower side, where you would actually end up with residual sweetness.
Okay.
But if you are only fighting perceived sweetness, then sure, you can up the IBUs a little bit. Or with that yeast, you can actually ferment a little bit warmer, and it's going to make a whole lot more esters, which would give you perceived sweetness.
But he wants to reduce the perceived sweetness, right? So he wouldn't ferment.
Oh, he wants to reduce it.
Yeah. He wants to dry it out, but without going lower in his target gravity.
Well, if it is perceived sweetness, that's one reason I was reducing the fermentation temperature.
Okay.
And got down that far, was to get it to actually be dry tasting where the main bitterness was from the hops, or where you could actually just taste the grain and get the sweetness from the actual grain sugars.
Okay. Ryan, I hope you made sense of that. This is about Jamil. It's from Kevin. He says, hi, just getting back to listening to the podcast again and noticed Jamil hasn't recorded anything in a while. I was also blessed to move, he was blessed apparently, to move to Dixon, California recently and got to go to Heretic to get my book, Brewing Classic Style, signed by the Pope himself. I saw on the AHA website that there will be a rally at Heretic in October, and I'm excited to partake. Do you guys have any info on it? No. What kind of wort is being brewed for the giveaway? I don't know. What sponsors or swag to expect? I have no idea. Is the Brewing Network doing a remote broadcast? Nope. From what I hear, it's usually a big deal. We did that once a couple years ago, but I don't think that we have any plans to do that. It's the first time I'm hearing about it.
Well, I go to that event every year, and it's just a great event. He does a really good job. Jamil pulls out all the stops and gives the home brewers a great time.
Right.
Yeah,
but that's
everybody gets beer to go.
But there's no, you don't know what style he's doing.
No, but
okay, great.
I would bring sign up. I think it's a limited number of people will get a carboy of wort.
Yeah, you have to sign up. I know that.
You have to sign up. Go to the AHA website. You'll find it there.
And in regards to Jamil not recording anything, we have recorded some Brew Strongs. I'm not sure if they've been released yet, but we are recording again this coming Monday at noon.
Okay, I wonder if they're maybe just not updated on iTunes.
Maybe.
Yeah, iTunes is not always the best place to go.
I don't know.
You should go to the website for all the newest stuff like that. So,
but I'm making him work, so
yeah,
we're doing things.
The Jamil show's on a hiatus, but the Brew Strongs are going strong.
This one is about Sully, apparently. This is from Rich. He says, hey, gang, I'll keep it short and sweet. Because Sully had the plague for his scheduled 2NA show, we actually never heard about the deal with Brooklyn Brewery from the horse's mouth. Will it be possible to hear about that anytime in the near future? I'm certainly still curious. Thanks. Yeah, I want to get Sully on to hear about that as well. We definitely want to talk to him about all that kind of good stuff. Funkworks and Brooklyn Brewery Company and 2NA, they went in together on, I don't know.
Well, marketing force.
Now Brooklyn has a seat on the board at both of those other breweries.
Yeah, there's some money moved.
Yeah, there's minority
stake. 25%. But I don't know
if
where
they disclosed it.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. It was 25%. But I don't know if it went to Brooklyn or if it was split between Funkworks and Brooklyn, or I don't know how that works.
I think Brooklyn got 25 of each of them.
Oh, man, they
so it's basically just Brooklyn acquiring
25%
in both breweries.
Right.
It's not really commingling or anything like that.
Yeah,
that I understood.
Huh. Well, there you go. That's feedback, man. What is wrong with our feedback? No one's writing into feedback, but it bothers me. Do something about it.
Send your thoughts on JP's thoughts about
Beth's busy
feedback.
texting, so she can't.
Maybe she's writing a feedback right now.
She can't jump in. I appreciate her for doing that.
I just didn't want to respond to you because it would be feedback.
Go ahead and turn her off. Have you seen what the Brew Guru app can do for you, Chris?
I have not.
Well, let me tell you all about it. Built for homebrewers and beer lovers, the Brew Guru delivers sage brewing knowledge and money-saving deals at breweries, beer bars, and homebrew supply shops. The American Homebrewers Association designed this powerful mobile app to help homebrewers and craft beer lovers explore the wide world of beer that we all share. With the Brew Guru, it's an app. Chris, do you know about apps? Are you an app guy? Do you know about apps?
These things that are on the internet?
Yes. Well, sort of. They connect to the internet, but they're on your phone.
Yeah.
Your smartphone. You can effortlessly find deals and save money on beer, food, and brewing supplies. You can level up your brew IQ with hand-picked articles, proven recipes, and trusted resources from the American Homebrewers Association and Zymergy Magazine. And is all in caps, guys, so you know this one's the most important. Use the powerful brewery locator to find nearby breweries, tap rooms, beer bars, homebrew supply shops, and brew pubs. Wherever you are, a Brew Guru will lead you to good beer. You can tell I'm a professional broadcaster because I can't just the same sounds. I can't compress. Get the app today and follow the path to beer enlightenment. It's free for iPhone, iPad, Android, all that kind of stuff. You can learn more at homebrewersassociation.org. Okay, we are going to take a break, and then when we come back, We're going to be talking to the lovely and talented and tired Chris Graham about brewing on the cheap and brewing on the expensive. And we'll see if you guys can't learn a thing or two about how to upgrade your brewery or downgrade. Who knows? Yeah.
You go cheap.
It's The Session. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Are you a member of the White Labs Customer Club? If not, you should be. It's the easiest way to earn free stuff for turning in your old homebrew labels from either Vials or Pure Pitch. All you have to do is save your labels and redeem them for things like free yeast, an exclusive White Labs t-shirt or sweatshirt, and even the opportunity to brew with the yeast man himself, Chris White. Signing up is easy. Just go to whitelabs.com/customer club, fill out the registration form, and then mail in your labels. They will return the favor by sending you awesome White Labs swag. Go sign up today at whitelabs.com/customer club. White Labs, pure yeast and fermentation since 1995.
The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring
Monk's Blood.
Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Brewing great beer is a process of continuous learning, and the best books on every aspect of brewing can be found at Brewers Publications, with more than 50 awesome titles like Modern Homebrew Recipes by Gordon Strong, Designing Great Beers, the Ultimate Guide to Brewing Classic Beer Styles by Ray Daniels, American Sour Beers, Innovative Techniques for Mixed Fermentations by Michael Tonsmeyer, For the Love of Hops, The Practical Guide to Aroma, Bitterness, and the Culture of Hops by Stan Hieronymus, and Radical Brewing, Recipes, Tales, and World-Altering Meditations in a Glass by Randy Mosher, plus many, many more. These are the books and the authors with the knowledge to push your brewing farther than you thought possible. And you'll find them all at fine homebrew and book retailers everywhere. And visit the website at brewerspublications.com. Brewers Publications, all the best on beer and brewing.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
Marin Brewing Company in Northern California has been making award-winning beers for more than 25 freaking years. Today, I want to tell you about their new 12-ounce cans of Mount Tam Pale Ale. The good stuff. Mount Tam is bright gold, 5.5% ABV to keep you feeling good, and has been winning awards since 1989. If you're visiting the Bay Area, get your butt out to Marin Brewing Company. They pour tasty beers and serve great food every day until midnight. Come in for a tour, stay for the food, and pick up a 6-pack of cans of Mount Camp Pale Ale to enjoy at home, camping, biking, or whatever the hell you do. Owner Brendan Moylan has this to say about Marin Brewing beers.
It's freaking awesome.
Marin Brewing has won more than 100 gold medals in international competitions. Check out MarinBrewing.com for all their award-winning beers, food, and merch. Marin Brewing Company in Larkspur, California. Award-winning taste, refreshing finish. It's freaking awesome.
This is Corey King from Side Project Brewing, and you're listening to The Session on the Brewing Network.
There's murder all around you, on the streets and in the skies.
Hey, thanks for sticking around, everybody. But of course you will. What else are you going to do?
Go to work?
Well, maybe. Before we get to Chris, I wanted to let you guys know that White Labs has recently added 2... And then they put an exclamation point, but the exclamation point is in parentheses. So I'm not sure if I'm supposed to read it.
Is it optional?
It's optional.
Silent.
Yeah, it's a silent exclamation point. They have added 2 new yeasts to the vault. Their collection of specialty one-of-a-kind strains. Now homebrewers are able to pre-order WLP 066 London Fog Ale Yeast and WLP 073 Artisanal Country Ale Yeast by visiting whitelabs.com/the vault. Once each strain reaches 150 orders, White Labs will release the yeast and ship it directly to your doorstep, which is good news for professional brewers. If you want access to any vault strains for your next brew day, just place a minimum order of 1.5 liters. Are you all about the haze craze?
Nope.
Sorry, I just threw up a little bit. WLP 066 London Fog Ale Yeast is a great choice for those hazy New England style IPAs. And WLP 073 Artisanal Country Ale Yeast is perfect for your next beer to guard or other farmhouse style ale that is much better than hazy, shitty New England IPAs.
Yeah, brew that.
Don't wait, homebrewers. Visit whitelabs.com/the vault to learn more and place a pre-order on White Labs specialty strains. See, everyone complaining that Warren and Jason always talk about New England beers. It's in the copy.
Yeah,
so,
they asked for it.
Right. And they got it.
Right. You're welcome.
Hopefully they just won't give it to anybody else. I don't understand what that means. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chipper.
How you doing, buddy?
Good.
You ready to start talking about brewing on the cheap?
Yeah, I probably didn't drink enough, but it'll be good.
No, you didn't.
We could start the Twitter game.
What's wrong with your beer glass? Oh, that's right. God damn it. Do you need a beer? We can get you a beer. Bev will get you a beer.
I'm good. I'll be boring.
I can get you a beer.
Please, somebody get him a beer.
What do you want?
What do you want, Christopher?
Oh, I'll do that row 2, hill something.
Hill 5900.
Area 54.
Do the row find area 10.
We got Pliny on, too, if you want to go big.
Pliny would be good, actually.
Oh, get him a Pliny.
I might give some stuff away later.
Shit.
Okay, Pliny this.
All right, there you go. Get him a pitcher with a straw.
1 keg of Pliny, please.
Yeah. Warren, my apologies, my friend. Why don't we do the Twitter game?
Sure.
While we wait for Chris to get loaded.
Thanks for bringing it up.
We're giving away percentages of the company for the first caller. Go ahead,
Do we have
Warren.
a sponsor?
I don't have a sponsor for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I apologize about that.
So the Twitter game for this week kind of came to me because of the waves created this morning by the Brewers Association with their we're buying AB InBev, or we're crowdsourcing the money to buy AB InBev.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so many people were taking it seriously.
Really?
I couldn't even... And you click on the link, and in parentheses, right underneath it says, it's impossible to imagine this, but if you think about it. But so many people on social medias were just... We're actually going to do it. And they had a ticker on the website that was actually going up, and like the dollar amount raised and everything else. Like, it was going up during the day. And so I feel like it was encouraging these idiots, and they thought it was real.
What? Like, it's not April Fool's, so I wonder what the point is.
Well, I think...
That just raised a whole bunch of awareness.
Well, I think because it was pushing the upside-down beer bottle logo, their independent craft brewer
I like how you say
campaign.
that you're from like the Ozarks. Independent. independent.
Well, because that's how they break it up. It's not all one word. It's like independent, or however the letters are broken up weirdly.
Yeah.
Pushing that campaign and awareness about buying local and buying craft. But it is just confusing people all day.
Well, it's confusing the right people, the people that aren't into craft, that need to know that there's a decision to make on craft.
I saw a lot. I saw a lot of industry people freaking out about it.
That's all I saw about it.
Well, that was also an IQ test.
Exactly.
Those are the people in your social network. I'm talking about people beyond your social network.
But how do we know that they're
I can tell. I know this. Yes.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Tasty
he knows. Okay.
He can tell. He's the oracle. He has the envelope in a mayonnaise jar for 5 years. And so he just no citing of sources. Just the general knowledge.
He has the right. He has the right amount of aluminum foil on his head.
Right, or not enough.
A lot about that.
Yeah.
Well, thank God. We should play the lotto next time.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Warren.
So I was wondering what story is going to get leaked from the BN next week that's going to cause waves of misinformation across the internet.
Okay. All right. Waves of misinformation.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's see what we're going to be miseling everybody with next week.
All my competitors.
If we can make money doing it, that's a better.
Oh yeah.
I'm predicting that More Beer will buy the Brewing Network.
Oh yeah.
Well, I got $5
for $1.6 million.
At least $500,000. I mean, we're worth that.
Sure, Chris. Right?
Right, Bev?
I'd like to see the books. I'd like to see your payroll first, and then we'll work backwards from there.
Payroll,
very low.
I can write a zero on a piece of paper just as quickly as anybody else can. Let's do this deal with Justin out of town. Let's just push it through.
Yeah, we're his proxy. Throw a number at us.
We can vote this.
I told you I got $5.
Bev, we're selling the Brewing Network to More Beer.
Excellent.
Yeah.
She's like, you guys have good benefits, right?
$5 a month installments.
Can I just work into the contract that I don't get fired in the transition? Can you just take me too?
Why not?
We'll give you a guarantee.
Sure. We'll pay you the same rate.
Whatever.
All right, good job, Warren. Thank you very much.
No, you're very welcome.
All right, Christopher, back to you. Sorry for the interruption.
That
was Warren. It's fine. So let me do this. Let me catch up with what's happening at More Beer, because we haven't had you on in a long time. But we've talked about you, right? So we talked about
behind my back.
Well, yeah, the Pittsburgh warehouse, which is, I mean, it's bigger than a Costco. I mean, how many square feet is that out there?
It's, roughly 100,000 square feet.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Is it full
we
yet?
got room to move.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because that was always the problem expanding on the Detroit Avenue, where it's just like once we had a new bay, it was full.
Manifest destiny.
Right.
We took it all the way down to the end.
Did you shrink back over there from Detroit at all? Like,
oh, yeah.
Clear some of the spaces out? Okay.
Darren and Nolan are renting that back to other people. The baseball people are back. Like, almost all our old renters are there.
The same people, like Duke and Barron and all those people? Really?
Yeah, Simply Selling Shirts, all of them.
Oh, wow. Where did they all go?
To Sherry Circle, where rent's really expensive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
now they came back
to our end of Detroit, where rent's cheap.
Yeah, just ping-ponging back and forth. Cool. All right.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. And how many people do you guys have now?
I don't have an abacus with me. A fair amount.
Yeah?
Yeah. Payroll seems to get bigger.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's always always makes you feel good.
You'll barely notice my paycheck.
It's dropped in the bucket. Even with a raise, it'll be just nothing. It'll be peanuts.
It's still nothing.
Well, let's get into brewing on... You want to do brewing on the cheap first?
Sure. I think you got to start there.
Okay, let's start there. So, in my mind, this is just, people who either just want to gently enter home brewing or have a limited budget. They're on, they're either on fixed income or they're in a apartment or
they got kids.
Or they got kids or, other sort of things, but they're tired of drinking...
Other ailments or setbacks.
Right, or lagerments. Let's not...
okay.
Beer pun. So what can we do for these people?
Well, I'll start off with a lot's changed since the last time we talked.
Okay.
Even though I'm not sure you were there, but we talked.
Probably not, yeah.
But the landscape of homebrewing is like radically changed in 7 years, I think. It somehow got popular. I don't get that.
It's us.
It's
our show.
You're welcome.
I think there was some surveys done that weren't exactly done well, and I won't say what group did them, but then numbers were extrapolated out to how many homebrewers there are in America and how much money is being spent and all of this kind of jazz.
Okay.
So all of a sudden, a whole bunch of new people came into the space. New technology, Kickstarter campaigns, Indiegogo campaigns, devices, gadgets.
Wait, so you're saying that you're putting a correlation between that survey and then the kind of influx of tech in the...
absolutely.
Okay.
Influx
I'm not saying you're wrong. I just want to make sure I'm getting that.
Innovation, tech, interest.
Yeah.
There's just been a lot of interest in the hobby from, let's say, venture capitalists. And then from a very large brewery.
Weird.
Yeah.
Of the AB InBev type?
AB.
I might like that type.
Yeah. Maybe CD, who knows?
I never would have thought 10 years ago we'd be competing against AB, but now it's a daily thing that I do.
That's got to be a trip. I mean, just as a sidebar, like that's got to be daunting, but kind of challenging. Motivatingly challenging at the same time.
Exactly. Exactly. It's the same thing every small brewery goes through. It's the exact same feeling of how you're never going to outsource them. You're never going to have more cash in your pocket.
You're not getting more shelf space.
You're not going to get distribution any better. So you better outclass them.
So do you just leave more beer flyers all over the Fairfield parking lot in Anheuser-Busch?
I like that.
So let me ask you a question, since now we're on this rabbit hole. How does that work? Is there fear of, like, let's say Warren and I make a new product and we bring it to the market? Do you think, is there a fear that the AB-owned homebrew shops, plural, will, I don't know if they're plural anymore, will get it cheaper?
No.
Get it like a bulk rate, or like negotiate like a Costco would? Like, hey, we'll sell it, but we need to knock you 10% off MSRP.
I'm more worried with that kind of area where they will demand exclusives more than anything.
Okay.
There's been a lot of that going on.
Okay.
There's also, they are working around, a lot of us have fought for exclusive distributorship in certain regions. Well, they've opened a Northern Brewer, oops, I didn't say that out loud.
That's fine.
Canadian website.
Okay.
And I've noticed certain vendors are calling me to point out that they are using that as a way to get things we have exclusives in North America, are trying to use that to get our
So they would order on the Northern Brewer Canada site for delivery to the U.S.?
No. The company itself is using that to get access to certain products where we've fought to get exclusives with.
Okay, got it.
And then they have pushed us from not being able to get access to certain products because they've demanded 100% of the product.
So they're essentially doing the same thing on the homebrew side that they've done on the beer side forever.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
it seems easier to do on your side than the brewing side.
Yeah, we're a lot less public.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that? How do you fight that?
Just work harder.
Yeah.
Get more gray hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have more kids.
Yeah.
Do you contact them and be like, hey, this is not cool?
Who am I going to call?
I don't know.
They're like, the chief disruptor.
Hello?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, sure, there's someone at Northern Brewer that would, like, is responsible for stuff, right? And be like, hey, what do you care? They don't care.
I mean,
But it's their job to do what they're doing.
I assume now it's, like a marionette type situation where someone's saying this is what needs to be done, and that's what's being done.
Because in the homebrew shop community, there used to be that kind of, like, respect level to a certain extent. Some people who I don't even know if are in business anymore were not that way, but for the most part, you can call up shops.
Oh yeah,
and chat and either talk numbers or strategy or products or whatever.
I think all of us have gotten a stronger bond who aren't in that fold, because we have to.
Yeah,
we communicate a lot more. Even the whole AHA now has a whole retail side of things, and I think that's grown quite a bit because kind of the state of fear. It's better to be in one group as opposed to in no group at all.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, but with all of that, with all these, you have that going on, but big money coming into the industry. I mean, Whirlpool came into the industry with
Whirlpool?
an appliance.
The appliance company?
Vessi.
Top loader.
Yeah,
Top loading
it's essentially it is. It's a top loader fermenter and serving.
Really?
Yeah, it's called a
Wow.
Vessi. We'll get into it in the high end side of things.
Okay,
but long story short, I've met a lot of people along the way who've brought new products, cool innovation in this last 7 years, based off of these, well, there's over 1 million homebrewers in America spending $500 or $600 a year, blah blah blah, and I just don't really know if those numbers really hold true, because they're finding beyond the Kickstarter seems to be the problem. They're getting good sales in the crowdfunding.
All the sales,
right? Exactly. Yeah. But beyond that, they're not. But with all that being said, and the China distribution model now being a lot more prevalent in the last 10 years or so, just the ability to get quality brewing equipment is gone way down price-wise.
Okay.
I look at old catalogs, old price lists and such, and you would think there would be this steady curve upward of things. Yeah. And it's either flatlined or some of it's even decreased in price.
Especially stuff that's now available from China.
Exactly. Knockoffs and such of something that was patented.
Kettles are probably a good example.
Oh, kettles are a great example, and we'll go into. I used to talk about getting an old keg and cutting the top, and
now you can get a nice little straight-sided pot.
If you don't mind your stainless rusting, you can get it from China.
Yeah. And even then, that was my answer 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But now that's come a long enough way that's a rarity nowadays.
Okay.
Really?
Or a wrong thread, or
right,
whatever it is. Not that doesn't happen still, but it's like they're only going to make a few mistakes and lose their money that way before you figure out how to fix that.
Yeah. Do you think AB's entrance into the homebrewing market also has kind of encouraged the entrepreneurs, especially on the techier side, like higher end homebrew equipment side, to even go in? Because they're like, oh, well, if AB InBev's going in, there's money here.
It was interesting. So I'll handle that from like a different view, and maybe from the tech, but I haven't seen any real new tech in the last 6 to 8 months that has been shocking to me. Most of that happened about 2 years ago, in terms of like the cool all-in-one systems we'll talk about in the Pippin side of things. Yeah. But AB getting into it, so we used to get mergers and acquisition groups just calling daily. Oh, we've got someone interested in buying. You just learn to ignore them and not answer their calls, because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. That's not in our plan to do, so that's not what we're doing. But when AB, when it was publicly announced, finally, after weeks of speculation, it was like a shark got in the water. I mean, all those phone calls gone. All those, interest in that. In fact, if anything, I've noticed like the amount of homebrew shops in America is starting. It's slow, but to go down as opposed to go up. Because people don't want to take on a behemoth like that.
Sure.
Yeah, I can. I don't blame them.
On social media, it gets pushed out, and somehow I can't stop it. They've got some really good prices on kits and stuff like that. So I assume they can budget for a loss.
Oh yeah.
Because they have a big pocket somewhere up the.
I've gone through with certain people, especially like people who've been in the industry a long time. We've talked like, what is the long play? Like, what's the guess of what the long play is? And we did a lot of this last year. And, there was some people speculating that maybe AB wants to shut down homebrewing. And what better way to do it? And I'm like,
craft is nip it at the bud.
Right,
and
exactly.
it's never going to happen. No. But, you could do some serious damage, do a lot of price dropping, price thing, get rid of most of the competitors, and then all
go out
of
of business yourself.
And all of a sudden just stop selling it. I mean, it would reset homebrewing to 20 years ago or 25 years ago. But the internet's such a cool thing that I don't think that can happen.
Do you really think that they would pour this much investment and then just to sabotage the industry?
That's a small investment.
I was going to say the amount they paid for it is chump change.
But it seems like too much effort. Like just the amount of money they paid for the homebrew shops. But not to mention the payroll in acquiring that and doing all that and doing all the paperwork and then managing it and then to blow it up.
By the way, that's not my theory, because I don't believe that at all. I just want to make sure that's on some sort of recorded device. Like this is reel to reel, right?
Yes, of course. Right, we'll cut it out. Yeah.
But that's not my theory. Is they just saw a good business opportunity, and I really do think they bought it for a good value. I don't think it was a high priced acquisition as far as they were concerned.
Did they contact you first? Answer me truthfully right now.
No.
Okay.
I mean, if they were one of these mergers and acquisition groups who were behind them, maybe they did.
Yeah.
But we never answered any of their phone calls.
Okay.
So, but these are brokers that contact you. And no, if I knew there was AV money, I'd be on a yacht.
would you have sold?
Maybe you should have answered those phone calls.
Yeah.
Jason,
I think
that is an easy question in hindsight. Of course not.
Sure. No, but
No way.
I expect you to be truthful and honest. I mean, it's hard to back away from a paycheck like that, especially in homebrewing. We've struggled we all make our living in homebrewing, and it's not the payout I was promised, first of all. But
I do not remember any promises.
You could open that up to any brewing, not just home brewing.
Sure.
It's hard to get a payout. Yeah.
Even AB is having a hard time making good money in brewing nowadays.
Yeah. So I don't think anyone would fault you for it necessarily, but I mean, for at least entertaining the idea of like, oh, hey, I would have at least listened.
I would have listened. I'll listen to
the
anyone.
deal. Yeah.
I mean, but would we have done it? That's too hard to speculate on.
Yeah, of course.
And all that good jazz. But is it in our plan? Absolutely not.
I just want to throw in my investigative journalism probing questions here. That's all. That's all I'm trying to do.
Money on the table is money on the table.
Because I think Darren would have sold.
He's going to retire sometime in the near future.
Right? I don't think that Olin... I think Olin would have been opposed to it, and I think you would have been opposed to it.
Yeah, so we would overrule him right there.
Yeah. And then I think you would have to snicker.
Were you in on that meeting?
It depends how many yachts Chris would have gotten.
That's true. A minimum of 2. If I get less than 2 yachts, I'm out.
One for the family.
Right. Yes. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
And one in international waters.
Of course. And then one to ferry you between the two.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a helicopter.
From your casino to the family yacht and then back again.
Right.
Okay. Okay, well, we got all the important questions out here, Christopher. So
good show, everybody.
Yeah, thank you very much. And let's talk equipment. What are we doing?
So that's where I was going with all this. Is there's just been a flood of good quality, inexpensive items into the market. And this talk used to be about going to Home Depot, going to, use these like different things, MacGyvering them and repurposing them.
An aluminum pot or something.
Exactly. Yeah. Or even a turkey fryer used to be like the answer. And now you can buy a burner for home brewing for less than you can probably buy a turkey fryer. And so I'll just start with that is look within the homebrewing community for good deals, because there's lots of them. I would say, if you're not in the hobby, shop online, look at all the big stores, and look at their starter kits, because most of them are lost leaders. They want you into this hobby. The first dose is free.
Yeah.
And then go to your local homebrew shop and just talk to them. And just say, like, hey, I found this one. I'd rather buy from you. Any chance you'd match it? And I think you'd be surprised. They'll respect you for not just, voting with the lowest dollar right off the get-go. And, a local homebrew shop is a awesome source for you going forward. If you're a new homebrewer, having something local, if it's not a shop, at least a club, just somewhere where you can get feedback, you can get, lessen your learning curves quite a bit.
You need a sounding board in this hobby. You need one, and if you want to progress, and oftentimes, for sure, and oftentimes, what we've always said on the show is submit your beer for feedback in competition. But we've also said on the show that I've received some of the worst feedback I've ever had in my entire life on beer from competitions, even national competitions.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the best way is you sit down with somebody.
Oh, sure.
Like we do on Dr. Homebrew, available twice a month on the BrewingNetwork.com.
Oh, that's a podcast?
That's a podcast.
Oh,
it's popular. It's a popular show. Where you can get feedback, like actual feedback, and you can interact with the people. And that's the great thing about a homebrew shop or a club where you can sit down with these people and say, well, what do you mean when you say this could be malty, or I don't understand?
Right.
Yeah, a club where, like Chris says, the homebrew supply store is a great resource. That's kind of how I got my beer, making better beer, is going to people at More Beer.
Going to HopTech?
There wasn't even a HopTech then.
No.
Going to More Beer, and Olin would help me with my beers and stuff.
Yeah, I remember. No, we'd all gather in the showroom.
Yeah, Friday night.
And we'd taste it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Every time I'm down there, even as recently as a week or two ago, people are having conversations about how to make better beer at More Beer with the employees.
Yeah.
So they're actually giving right answers.
Well, what?
So yeah,
we don't pay them for that.
Yeah.
I love when people talk about homebrewing. I love trying to eavesdrop and like, is this person know what the fuck they're talking about?
Turns out the people at More Beer do. So you can go ask them questions.
Well, I'm going to give some pats on backs when I go back there.
There you go. Good job.
You guys tend to hire homebrewers as staff.
We try.
Yeah.
And it's no fun when someone's like, I don't like beer. It's like, don't know if I want to hire you.
Right.
But, okay, so here's just a whole series of simple things to lessen. It should be able to lessen the cost of this overall hobby for you.
Okay.
First, there's a bunch of websites out there that sell homebrewing stuff. They all have email lists. They all have convenient pop-ups that happen when you go to their website. Just type and paste your email address in there. You'll be amazed at what kind of deals you'll get on things. It's not always, going to be a home run or what you even want at the time. But if you're looking for doing this hobby at a lower cost, I'm on 15 different email lists, and I just look at it from an outsider's perspective, and obviously we try to hone in our craft of doing that, and we're trying to do a little bit different. We're trying to now we inject articles into every newsletter and try to actually bring some value besides this kit's $5 off or whatever it's going to be. Yeah. But we also still do this kit's $5 or this thing is this and this thing is that, and it introduces people to things they don't know about, and you can always snipe good deals out of those.
So join email lists.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think in today's internet culture, I think we're inundated with email lists. So I'm surprised that would be a thing that you would bring up just in the realm of internet technology. But I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean,
it's something I would never think of.
If you're bargain hunting,
right?
This is the bargain hunter.
Yes, right.
Exactly.
Yeah. For sure. I saved hundreds, if not thousands, doing that.
In life, I am a bargain hunter, as JP.
That's
will
true.
Tell you.
Yeah, I'm going to San Jose to go to Fry's again. Jesus. All right.
Yeah. Well, they made one in Concord. It's
I know.
Yeah. And they're not always the best deal, Jason.
It's true. It's true.
But I'm going to get a phone call now. We'll match it. But, just in anything, if I can get a decent value, that's what I want to get.
Yeah.
And so you can use sites. There's good sites out there that conglomerate it. Brad's Deals used to have actually a homebrew section. I think they dropped that finally. But there's Homebrew Finds, and there's
Homebrew Finds is kind of
Chris
like
is great.
The dude.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. He's always been one of the better ones out there.
Yeah.
But he's going to sponsor those who help him too more than anyone else, and I'm one of them. So fantastic.
Yeah.
But sometimes if you want to be your best advocate, getting on those mailing lists, you will get all the deals as opposed to some of the deals.
Right. Because he'll post stuff from like Amazon too, which whatever. But
I mean, he's an affiliate. He admits that, and he
Sure.
makes a small cut off of those sales, and that's how he stays as a website.
Absolutely.
And Amazon does it. We do it. Most of the big companies will do that, but sometimes by just being on different mailing lists, you just learn about things you're not going to learn about otherwise. But that was another one. Homebrew clubs. Now that may seem weird about like, oh, how am I going to save money by being in a club? I'm just spending more money. One of the better things that a homebrew club is typically going to do is, one, you could probably borrow any bit of equipment you've ever wanted to try. Homebrewers love to share.
Okay, yeah.
Love to have you over. So you can almost treat it like a try before you buy. There's also a lot of people are upgrading or getting out of the hobby, or know people getting out of the hobby. Sure. I'm on Words of Wisdom, Doze, all these different email lists, Droughtboard, and I feel like every week somebody's offloading a kegerator, a bunch of carboys, pumps, blah, blah, blah. So that's another good way. And sometimes just the community of brewing, I've been noticing Doze is doing more group brews.
It's a great way to have a social interaction as well as learn more about beer and engage the hobby more for sure.
And this is where someone can come in the hobby and have nothing at home.
Yeah, and go again.
And go learn and then brew at somebody's house on their equipment.
Exactly.
I watch Vito having people to his house all the time.
Sure, I'll be an extract brewer, and you can go and watch somebody do all grain and see if that's for you.
See if it's for you, and brew on a $7,000 piece of equipment and take home some more. And you didn't pay.
Convince your wife you're in love, and she'll go for the $7,000.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
I'll save money.
The two main magazines always have pretty good articles about building something yourself. Brew Your Own and Zymergy always have some good article. Sure. And so save yourself a little bit on. Sometimes you'll see something commercially made, and they'll usually reverse engineer it within a reasonable proximity of the item.
Sometimes using stuff you got laying around.
Laying around.
Chambers come to mind.
That's a great one. That's such a simple one, and you may not have some of that laying around, but some of it you do, and some's just cheap.
Sure.
Yeah, you can. I think you can usually find stuff at garage sales or even for free in Craigslist, like an old fridge. It still works, but it's frozen
get
inside.
It out of my garage. It's yours. Kind of
pull the guts out and make your own thing, man.
Yeah. An immersion chiller is an easy thing to make, especially if you have some extra copper laying around.
Yeah, but the tweakers all sold their copper. It was high valued a couple years ago.
Oh, okay. I started homebrewing years ago, back when there was copper laying around everywhere.
So you just stole it off of a job site, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. The local school took an extra month to open, but I had an immersion chiller.
But it was totally worth it.
Yeah. I don't use it anymore, but,
No.
It's fine.
I threw it away after 2 batches.
Okay, those are good. Those are good pieces of info.
Yeah. Now I'll move on to support your local homebrew shop, which I know I already said.
Yes.
But a lot of times there's good savings to be done there. Ask them if they'll match a deal. You're looking for something. Most of the time, they're going to want some sort of deal. And if you show them a reasonable, if it's ridiculously underpriced on eBay, maybe they'll say, kick rocks. But for the most part, and then I know we do this a lot, and I know other shop owners do this a lot. We get samples from Breeze and samples from Wireman's and samples from whatever. And a lot of times, after a bit, you don't even know what to do with it.
Just sample sacks of grain, or really,
or half sacks of grain,
or 2-pound sack of Wireman or something,
or hop samples. And I love when they send us samples of something you can't get. You're like, I'll take all of it, and they're like, oh, it's sold out. And it's like, oh, okay, thanks for the 2 ounces. I guess.
Right. But a home brewer could take that and make a beer with it.
And we do that a lot. Like we do that internally with new brewers.
Oh, cool.
So if you're a new person who works for us, we try to do that as much as we can. But sometimes, it just makes sense to be like, here. And I kind of feel like that's part of the way I got into the hobby. Was I was in college, I didn't have a whole lot of extra money, and I actually went and did kind of a weekend trade. I would work for exchange of
that's what I did.
Goods and services. And it probably wasn't legal, but that was a long time ago, and I don't think you can go after me. And Jason, that was a long time ago for you, and I don't think they can go after me for that.
No.
So.
I stole shit to pay for my hobby. I stole right from Starbucks.
Allegedly.
I did it.
Oh.
Wait, you worked for me.
Not then.
Perfect.
Yeah.
He stole more when he worked for you.
Right.
But they'll often also have ding and dent areas or older products sitting on the shelf that they're going to want to turn at some point. You make them an offer on that Milwaukee pH meter that you have to scrape the dust off. They might give you a good deal on it.
Yeah.
So those are some simple ways to save a little bit of money.
Well, I think that's true. And maybe in this hobby more than any, or at least within the DIY hobbies, where the staff who are there are in your same position usually, and they kind of understand that you're trying to get something.
They're probably more broke than you are,
right? Because they work at a homebrew shop.
Exactly.
And so I don't go to Best Buy maybe and try to. You would feel kind of weird going to a Costco or whatever. But if you go to a homebrew shop,
no, I think you should. You should go to Costco and see if you can negotiate the roaster chicken,
right?
And just see how well that works.
It's kind of small, looks a little leather, but I think in a homebrew shop, these people have been in your position or are currently in your position, and so I think it'll be a little bit better. A little bit easier to kind of negotiate.
I will say this, too. I know it holds true for me, and it's rare that I work in our retail stores because I'm bad at it.
Yeah,
but
it's true.
Yeah. But new excitement is such an awesome thing. When you've done the same hobby for 20-something years, you get a little burnt out sometimes.
It's true. Sure.
Maybe you hear nothing but the negatives or whatnot, and people ragging on beer, and then all of a sudden someone who just comes in. Remember Jim Rossi used to come in
with
just the
jumping Jim Rossi.
Yeah, just so much energy that you had no choice but to be excited. And I don't know how much free stuff that guy got.
Here, try this, Jim.
Maybe that's why he was jumping.
Yeah.
He was jumping. This motherfucker, I've talked about him on the show several times over the years. He would brew barley wine. Do you remember this, Chris? And he would drink it within 3 weeks of kegging it.
Oh, yeah.
Because he liked the flavor of young barley wine. And we're like, Jim, what are you doing right now? What can I say, JP? I really love it. All right, hey, God bless you, Jim.
It was kind of before IPAs were a thing, so I think Jim was just kind of leading the way into the IPA, double IPA world.
Yeah.
Because these were super hoppy barley wines.
Okay, not just boozy. He actually liked the crazy hoppy bitter.
He's like, God, I can't even drink this. What are you doing, man? He was an electrician. Probably got shocked one too many times. Anyway, excitement.
But it's that kind of excitement that breeds excitement, and a lot of times it's like, oh, I've got this. So bringing a little of that with yourself as you approach this hobby, and you don't have much to do. People want to share. People want to help you. Shops will, other homebrewers will, because they like having that excitement around this thing they like to do instead of hearing nothing but, melancholy boringness about the damn thing.
Yeah, I definitely get that.
It happens.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
And we've done 2 episodes now on like individual equipment. Wort chillers, kettles, fermenters, and a lot of times they were all alternative things. Make your own out of, copper that you have lying around. Who has copper tubing now lying around? Or even go to the store and buy a roll of copper tubing. It's $100 and something because copper's expensive now.
Yeah.
Now we're making more chillers out of stainless because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
So I should have sold mine for way more than I just did.
Yeah, you just got ripped off. But it's funny because I was writing this up and looking at like where I used the last time where I said to go get these things from: kettles, pumps, thermometers, PET carboys, or carboys or fermenters in general. Last time I did this show, I was talking about going outside of the industry, outside of my shop, outside of any shops.
Yeah.
And now I don't think you're going to get much better deals than going within the homebrewing community and just looking at what's on sale at the time.
That's just how good the supply chains have become?
And how many more people have come in the game, how better the supply chains have come.
Climate has lowered the price for everybody.
Yeah. Take carboys, for example. It's like nowadays plastic carboys are the norm, and they are cheap. And there's enough competitors, started as one supplier, and now there's 4 or 5, and so you can get them for under $20 all day long, if not less. And shipping is nothing because they're plastic.
Yeah, they're lightweight. They're not oversized because they're not giant. And
Pumps used to be, you want to pump? Oh, March.
Yeah.
The 809 series, perfect, got you covered. Now, I looked on the new catalog, and I think we have like 13 pumps lined up.
Whoa.
And shockingly, Blickman, I'll just use him as a low-cost side of things.
How'd they do that?
I'm kind of surprised, but I think he has by far the best brewing pump out there in this new Riptide pump. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I've seen it.
Haven't used it.
Show,
yeah, triclover head on it, big, huge impeller that's like curled, so it gets a way better vortex, dead quiet.
Wow.
And it's like under $200, I think. So
that's a good deal, man.
Yeah, with a flow control valve in it.
Wow.
Integrated into
it.
Doesn't
cavitate. So nice.
Yeah. So anyway, and then thermometers used to be, we would carry the really inexpensive China one and the really high-end Teltrue, and now there's like 7 in between.
Really?
Yeah. So it's all the categories have filled in. Where there's good alternatives to just the top high-end piece that are worthy of using. They're not like just so cheap that like, oh, this is disposable. Thank you for the thermometer. It worked once.
Right.
I will throw it away now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's good to hear, man.
But and so just going through the brewing on the cheap, I was just shocked to even look at the fact that really it can be a pretty inexpensive hobby within the industry relative to where it was 10 years ago. Even take all grain, coolers and kettles and things like that. We now sell this little thing called a RoboBrew, and then there's like a big expensive version called the Braumeister that's been around for a while.
Yeah, I missed that thing.
And that thing's great, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, the Chinese ripped it off. What was that, $1,800?
Yeah.
Chinese ripped it off $110 for under $500.
Wow.
And it works fantastic. Like,
really?
Yeah, has a pump integrated.
Doesn't give you like lead poisoning.
Well,
or anything
probably
like that.
will in the long run, but
Yeah.
so will the Braumeister. I mean, but long story short, they've even taken a high end product and done it well enough that it's usable.
Let me ask you a question real fast, and you may not know this, but who over in China has their eye on like the homebrew scene enough to knock this product off and then sell it? I can't imagine there's that many people, that much of a market for it, right?
And it isn't necessarily a Chinese company coming up with this idea. A lot of it is we make things in China, things we've made here, decide to bring it to China, and then all of a sudden in our competitors' catalogs, there's our item.
Right.
Because they sold, the company we were buying it from, having them make it, we're now just selling it to our competitors.
Right. Even Braumeister might hit things off and get their own cheap version.
And that's kind of what I feel. I don't think Braumeister Spiedel's a very German company. I don't think they did, but I'm sure a competitor just said, like, hey, guys, this is metal.
Yeah.
This is circular.
Right.
Can you
And
please...
I know a guy in China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's probably one or two people trying to disrupt the market and make a buck.
Somebody's got to
on
have
this
some
kind of
money.
stuff. Yeah.
And I think if you can sell a $1,700 item for $500, you're going to get probably 4 or 5 times the sale of the $1,700 item.
The Amazon model.
Yeah, exactly. And Amazon will own us all anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
That's very true.
Yeah.
If you have a margin, they're going to get it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, fair enough.
So that concludes the program.
My name is Christopher Graham, and I'm about to tell you what I did on my summer vacation.
I don't know what to do
What
with
I
my
did
hand.
on my summer vacation is the following. Well, thank you very much, Chris. It's actually we're up against a break, so I'm glad that you stopped right when you did. But I think that helps a lot of people out, especially people who are listening who want to get their friends into home brewing. But maybe we jumped in 10 years ago and we're like, God, it's kind of expensive.
Right.
Now, not so much. Because I don't look at equipment anymore. I'm just looking at ingredients because I have my equipment.
Yeah.
The one thing I've kept track of over the years is keg prices. And it
Commercial or
no, like homebrew, like getting
empty
corny kegs. Yeah, getting used kegs through the homebrew shop. From when I started, went crazy high after about 5 years into it, but then it seems like it's peaked and is now at least leveling in terms of getting corny kegs or buying new kegs.
So when I first started selling new kegs, I think we sold them for $129.
Mm-hmm.
And now we sell new kegs for $79.
Right.
And used kegs used to be $25. And now used kegs are about $65.
Exactly, yeah.
And so, that's definitely reversed quickly.
And is that just, is that
supply and demand?
Exactly. The same effects that we're talking about here.
When Pepsi and Coke switched from a post-mix to a pre-mix, they had all these extra kegs sitting around.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why we could buy them for $5-6 a keg when you bought a container load. And so homebrewers used to be able to get them super cheap. But then all of a sudden that dried up eventually.
Sure.
And then all the manufacturers in India, China, Italy, they saw like, oh, wait, people like these kegs. And so they started manufacturing them in more scale. And, the quality was horrible at first. and it's improved quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
Good to hear. All right, Chris.
Yep.
Well, at the other side of the break, I look forward to the other side of this.
Pimpin'.
The pimpin'.
It ain't easy.
Pimpin' your system. Speaking of pimpin', Drake's Brewing Company at drinkdrakes.com has released their War Pigeon Double IPA. So if you're on the hunt for some good double IPA, and who isn't, let me tell you, Drake's has it for you, man. And it's I haven't had it, of course, but the bottle looks rad. There's a little pigeon like an airplane and dropping some bombs like hops, and that's what that would have been a perfect tie-in for the hop grenade. Although we're not a bomb.
We would have had to sue Drake's for using it.
Well, tie-in, it was implying that we would work together.
Oh, okay.
You get the money from it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'll take the money from it. That's fine.
You'll never see the money for that. Justin sees the money for that. The Cayman Islands see the money for that, I'm positive.
Oh, sure.
What's cool on their website, though, they have food pairings for this beer. So to pair with the War Pigeon Double IPA, you can pair with Humboldt Fog or Maytag Blue Cheese. I like how they got brand specific on those.
Maytag is in cheese?
Yeah, they've
once they got out of homebrewing, they got
the appliance people.
No.
Oh,
it might be.
Warren.
Bev doesn't know.
Sorry, I don't eat 5 pounds of cheese a day.
That's for you.
It's 4.5. Thank you. Mahi Mahi tacos, ham and pineapple Hawaiian pizza with jalapenos, whatever a jalapeno is. It's 8% ABV beer, 87 IBUs. Anyway, they have all the stats there on their site, drinkdrakes.com. So check it out and, get your war pigeon on, brah. All right, this is The Session. We'll be right back with Christopher Graham from morebeer.com.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support, like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, there are amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and the Homebrewer's Answer Book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer, whether for yourself or as a gift. When you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from thebrewingnetwork.com. Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today. Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on 2 gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy. If you work in retail sales, the restaurant industry, or are a new craft beer enthusiast, or you know someone who is, you have got to check out Beer 101. Beer 101 is an online course created for anyone wanting a quick introduction to the vast world of craft beer. Beer 101 covers the history of beer, brewing ingredients and processes, vital stats like ABV, SRM, IBU, and gravity, styles, tasting, glassware, and pairing beer with food. The Beer 101 course is offered by the Brewers Association
Association at craftbeer.com. Also home to the truly awesome Beer Style Finder, a visual guide to every beer style. Quickly play with color, bitterness, and alcohol content to interactively explore the entire world of beer styles with a gorgeously designed interface to your favorite beverage. The new Beer 101 course and new Beer Style Finder are only available at craftbeer.com. Craftbeer.com, celebrating the best of American beer.
Hey guys, what'll it be?
I'm not sure. What do you recommend?
A lot of people seem to like the Hefeweizen.
Is that a German Hefeweizen or more of an American-style wheat beer?
I'm not sure, but I can give you a taste.
Okay, great.
The Cicerone Certification Program certifies and educates beer professionals in order to elevate the beer experience for consumers. Unfortunately, not every bar is staffed with certified beer servers who can guide their customers through a beer list.
Here you go, guys. Let me know what you think of the Hefeweizen.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely more of an American meat. But I can hardly tell because this beer just smells like sour butter. I wonder how long it's been since they cleaned the draft line.
Yeah, and look at the bubbles on the side of the glass. It's filthy.
Somebody should tell these guys about the Cicerone program.
For sure. How about we head somewhere else for another beer?
Your server should give beer the same respect you do. Request quality. The Cicerone Certification Program offers 4 levels of beer certification, in-person classes, and course books for beer professionals. Check them out at cicerone.org. The Cicerone Certification Program. We know beer.
Hi, this is Tyler from Libertine Brewing Company in the Central Coast of California. You're listening to Brewing Network, The Session.
It sucks.
Does it suck?
It sucks.
But that's what's good about it, is that it sucks, right?
All right, everybody, welcome back. We have Christopher Graham here still. He didn't even get up. That's how much he loves being here right now. And I appreciate that.
I think he just peed in his chair.
Well, yeah.
That's what you do.
You're not supposed to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Doc does
It's
it all
normal.
the time. It's
Yeah.
fine.
I was reading the instructions.
It's okay. You'll do just fine. Speaking of doing fine in beer, craftbeer.com has a Beer 101 course. In case you guys didn't know that, it's an online course created for anyone wanting a quick hit introduction to craft beer from the leading organization representing America's small and independent breweries. If you work in retail sales, the restaurant industry, or simply a burgeoning, not bourgeois, a burgeoning craft beer enthusiast, Beer 101 provides a solid intro to the world of craft beer. You get the history, brewing statistics, classic beer styles, which don't pay attention to those too much because every brewery in America is now fucking them all. But it's fine because you can still learn a base on how to ask for proper beers in America. Right, Warren?
Exactly.
I'm so bitter.
Go
I'm
to
so
craftbeer.com.
Angry.
And get bitter.
Get bitter. I think more education leads you to want more out of breweries, and they don't deliver it.
Well, the quality of your education depends on who's giving it to you.
If you knew more about beer, you'd be more of a discriminating beer buyer. That's what I
Yeah. That's true. And
most people that drink the volume of craft beer are like 25 to 35 years old. So the 35, they're buying at the grocery store like Chris does. You know, he doesn't drink out; he drinks at home, right? So 25-year-olds,
is that true, Chris?
They're
Yes. He's very true.
Yeah.
They're renters, so they got to get out of they're tired looking at each other every night. They got to get out and get some beer, but they don't know shit about beer. That's why something like a course that teaches the basics of like beer, styles or what to look for in a beer and that kind of stuff would be great.
Right.
Dude, you go to one of these bigger, like, beverage places, and there's a couple in town now, and they're cool. I don't know why I don't like to say names of.
Just say it. No one's going to be sponsored like a Yard
Support
Dog
your
or
local
Top Dog
beverage
or
place.
Lazy Dog,
like
that's what's
Bevmo
yeah.
versus the new
Total Wine.
Total Wine. I like both of them. I like Total Wine because I don't have to park in that crappy parking lot at Bevmo.
Oh, that Bevmo parking lot.
You get better prices at Total Wine too.
Yeah, and they have lots of coupons, and I'm frugal.
Yeah, but
and I'm on the railing list, and I get my deals.
But you know what? Looking just to derail you, just looking at the bottle on dates at Total Wine, Bevmo has it better. Like Total Wine has older beer.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
cheaper,
great
but
wine.
fresher.
Good point. I'll have to check that out.
So I was going in there the other day. We had a party for our 4-year-olds. Yeah, that's what you normally do. So I was buying a couple cases of beer.
At Total Wine.
Yeah.
What do 4-year-olds drink?
And I had the kids with me. I let them pick their favorite beers.
Sure.
I like the fish.
But it was amazing watching people. It's almost like people line up in front of the glass doors, and they don't know what they're doing. You could tell. And they're looking around, and that's where you really realize the impact of all the brewery, like good name breweries being bought, and what the distribution power really means. You hear this word distribution thrown out quite a bit when it comes to, why the BA did their definition of independent craft breweries. But then when you all of a sudden look at what's at eye level across the entire wall, literally 7 or 8 doors at Total Wine was all Lagunitas. It was Pen Barrel, Goose, you name it. And if you wanted, I wanted some Sierra Nevada to have in the mix, you had to go to the bottom to get it.
Wow.
Now they demand a little more, so that the next row up they had some 6-packs. But I
didn't see any 21st Amendment cold there at all.
No, that's all warm there. Or you have to go in like a low life. Because they do have a sliding glass door there to go in and go in the back, and they do have a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
It's the watermelon wheat, so I'm not exactly going to get that, but that's what they have.
I've seen it back.
Yeah. And so it's just amazing to me. And I'm watching these guys, and once in a while you hear someone kind of talk to each other, and I don't want to butt in because I don't want them to know.
You don't want to be a butt-insky.
Yeah.
I always want to help people that are lost in front of the beer aisle.
I do, but yet I don't.
It leads to a whole conversation.
And that's where I want to just go have cards to just hand them and go
learn a thing or two.
Well, Craft Beer 101 card.
Well, and that's great, but I guess my point of the more you know does damage to you in the long run, because I know a lot about craft beer, and so I'll go out.
You're just bitter and jaded.
Right, I know, but that's part of it, is because a lot of these breweries are brewing styles. They're brewing beers, calling it a style, but it's not that style, and they're misleading the general public. And they'll go, "Oh, this is how a Kolsch should taste." No, a Kolsch should not be hoppy, and it should not be fucking estery. What are you doing right now, or whatever? Here's a Pilsner with new hops, and it's fermented at 65 degrees. No, that's not a Pilsner. Stop it. Stop.
So that's the disconnect. The knowledge of the general consumer is just too low to have an influence on beer, to correct that brewery.
But the beauty is now, what's the brewery count roughly? 1,500?
Oh, God, I have no idea.
850 just in California, I heard this year.
And so that same person who gets that one hoppy Kolsch, hopefully now has the odds of having another Kolsch that are closer to the proper style. Right. And yes, you're always going to have some people got into the industry to make money, and some people didn't, but then learned they had to learn how to make money somehow. And making things within style, quote unquote, in style, would be a little bit boring. So I'll play your devil's advocate.
Yeah.
If everyone made everything exactly to style, this would be a pretty boring place.
No, it'd be great.
Yeah,
it'd be so good.
And you could go anywhere and have a good beer.
But no, that's different. Wait. Good beer and being within the exact style guidelines are two totally different things.
In my mind, it used to be different. It used to be there was a lot.
Why
more
don't you move to a conservative state?
I would like
to. Indiana, I'm pretty sure would do styles right down the line.
He's working. He's working on his memoirs. The man who knew too much.
Yeah. You're in the Bay Area. We're liberal here. I grew up in New York, not so liberal.
Yeah, right.
You're lucky there's malt in this beer.
But that's what I'm saying, right? 10, 15 years ago, there were a lot more style, within the target range, at least.
Well, there was only 6 styles.
Sure, and I'm fine with that. And then there were people who pushed the envelope. At some point, we had a good ratio of people pushing the envelope and people kind of actually brewing styles of beer. Now everyone has exploded into, I want to push the envelope. I'm going to brew with, fucking Golden Grams or whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
But the 89th brewery to do that in your general location, that to me is boring, because then everybody's doing it. So we've kind of flipped it over.
I've got an idea that you should homebrew. And not go out commercial beer drinking.
I do. I think I'm the only one who homebrews in the world now. It's just me.
Oh, you're supporting me?
Well, thank you for going to more beer.
I'll tell you what sucks. I do go to more, but now it sucks. First of all, you need to get a shop in Pittsburgh, because now I'm out in Oakley. Now I have to drive 35 minutes to get to you, which sucks.
Is that my fault you moved?
Give me 10 minutes and I can make it your fault. But what sucks about living out in East County is the beer selection is terrible.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Suddenly, all of a sudden, that graham cracker beer sounds good, doesn't it?
Not even.
You're gonna have to do homebrewing again.
I'm not even talking about on the in the bars. I'm talking about just
the
grocery
store. Yeah,
and so
we have 3 different kinds of Bud Light.
Right,
we got the lime one,
tons of Sierra Nevada, which is fine. I never used to drink that before. It never hit with me. But anyway, tons of that and tons of 805. And I will be damned if I can find 805 that's younger than 2 months old. I can't fucking do it. I went to the Bevmo out there in Brentwood. I saw Pivo Pilsner bottled in month 6. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't drink this.
It's a long drive up Interstate 5.
That's a really popular brand and everything.
Yeah, and I guess that's the problem with being over here, like in this area.
It's not that people are drinking.
People are moving through the craft.
You might want to check out Negro Modelo there. I bet you it was brewed.
I do.
Here where people are.
There were some bottled in August. Just
so it's fresher.
Yeah.
Right.
Know your audience.
But even that, like Coors out there, any of the macro brews, I wonder what people drink. I would love to see the statistics of beer drinkers out there, because it seems like all the beer that's on the shelf is easily 2.5 months old minimum, no matter what brand
Maybe
it is.
you should start surveying at the store. I think they'd like that.
It probably is mostly Modelo and Coors Bud.
Even the Modelo, like I downloaded the sheet, the date code sheet, so now I've like deciphered the Modelo date code.
You're that guy.
You were the first person to ever download that
what's
PDF.
Wrong with me, dude. I have something wrong where
you are broken.
If I'm going to do the thing, I want to do it right.
Do you touch every egg when you buy a
I don't do that. I laugh at people who do that. I go, why are we doing this right now? Anyway, Christopher Graham. By the way, Bev was wrong. Maytag was started by the founders of the Maytag Appliance Company.
So they did get into cheese.
Yes.
Sorry, Warren. And also, I haven't had any cheese today.
Well,
the
the
milk
day's not over.
For the cheese industry came from a prize-winning herd of Holstein cattle that were established by E.H. Maytag, a son of the Maytag founder. So it's in the family. Bev, know your cheese, girl.
Yeah.
We need a Cheese 101 segment. That would be good. That would be a good show. Cheese. Let's do a cheese show.
You know craft, that's for sure.
It's going to smell so terrible in here.
For that?
What's that?
Can you have Shay on for that?
Oh my God! I tried to get that guy in. He just just not interested.
Tell him you're doing a Duke special and he needs to come on.
He would be in here. Let's talk about brewing like a baller, Chris Graham.
I think we just did somehow.
You're probably right. We're done. We're done with the show. We have Natalie on in half an hour, so we'll just hang out and chit chat. I'm okay with that too. Now, how do we? Let's pretend that
money's no object.
Money's no object.
Yeah, pretend we're not ballers. Tell us how to be one.
Yeah, let's pretend we have 3 Teslas per person in the household, and we just nothing.
So the first thing you do is just go buy beer. I mean, that's brewing like a baller.
But in which Tesla?
Own about $20,000 worth of equipment, but then just go buy beer. Baller number 1.
True that.
I know a lot of guys at home brewed and then justified a kegerator with 4 taps. Pretty soon they got out of the hobby. What's on those 4 taps? All commercial.
All commercial beer.
Yeah, it's like,
I love those guys.
Life's a process to a kegerator.
Oh God, where do you start on brewing on the high end? I mean, the yacht versus the.
Well, there is an economical version of the high end, probably, right? I mean, like the. I don't know, the Grainfather, whatever.
Oh, the Grainfather, or the one we even talked about, the RoboBrew, which is I consider the RoboBrew a knockoff of the Grainfather.
So what is a RoboBrew? I'm not clear.
About $800.
I mean, what does it do?
That's like I feel like I was like looking at a vaudeville act right there.
Who's on first?
An airplane. What's that? It's a thing that flies in the air, but that's not important right now.
The Grainfather / RoboBrew, same concept.
Same concept.
They are I consider them a brew in the bag, but it's a metal bag. They call them malt pipes. Baskets, same thing. But then it's electric brew house after that. So you do your mash, you pull the pipe out, you let the liquid drain back into the vessel, rinse it a little bit, top up, boil.
Oh, do you do a little sparge on them?
You can.
Okay.
You know, for consistency, you're probably better off just using more grain.
Exactly. Grain's so relatively inexpensive relative to the rest of the process and your time. I love, like, I'm going to save 2 pounds of grain and take 5 more hours. It's like, well, let's do the math.
Yeah.
So that's an electric system.
It's electric.
And
so
it's 110 in US.
Both of those are 110, which is awesome. I mean, literally under 15 amps. So any plug in your house, they'll run.
So how long do they take to come to a boil?
I did a couple brews and it took me about 6.5 hours total. So not too bad.
Not too different
Yeah,
than an all-grain
and the
batch.
boil
Sure.
wasn't as vigorous as I would have liked. I like a good vigorous boil, so propane's really been the only thing to like truly get me where I want to be.
Well, most of the rest of the world has 220. I'm sure they don't have a problem at all.
Yes, but 220, you know, how many watts, you know,
Right,
or how many
yeah.
amps? And they have the home version of 220, which is safer than 110, I've been told. I don't understand electricity and how it all works, but
All
It's
right.
magic.
Yeah.
it is kind of magic,
Yeah.
I mean, in a way.
Right.
It just sits there until you use it.
Instant access.
Yeah. But I've suddenly become a big fan of electric. And for
Of electricity? I fucking love
Turns
it.
out Nikolai, he knew what he was doing.
Electric brew houses.
Okay. So what are the advantages of electric?
So we built the first big system electric, and I've brewed on it a couple times now. And the best thing, and maybe it's because I have kids now, it's dead quiet.
Oh, I see.
There's no roar of the propane tank the entire time.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow.
And open flames that are kid height.
Oh, I don't even brew at home with it. This is just
okay.
at work where I can just sit and see
Oh,
each one
you're just
silent.
valuing the silence.
Yes, there's just not this
okay.
loud hum going the whole time.
Right.
The other thing that's really nice is when I want to
My dog's
brew,
got his tail burned a few times, for sure.
I'm going to brew on Wednesday. At work, of course.
Okay.
And I don't have to think like, oh, I wonder if I have propane. I'm going to have to go fill my tanks up. It's like, oh,
It's
no.
a regular, like Wednesday. If I'm brewing on the weekend, I can plan to get propane during the week.
The downsides of brewing on electric is you're not portable. You're going to be where you're going to be.
Cash, you're ported.
There's no real flexibility to it. It is slower, in my opinion, to get to the boil.
Well, you get some nice propane burners. They could deliver a lot of.
Exactly. You usually end up with so much excess BTU.
It's
coming
hard
off
to dry
of the
it
things.
in.
Right, I think that's the efficiency has something to be said for that. Like I would rather take a little bit longer to get to the boil and not be wasting a lot of the
your
gas.
kid's not born yet, is it?
No.
It's like on the propane burner. You can see all the flames flapping around and all it's going into the air.
If you're worried about
going right to the
efficiency,
liquid.
you're worried about efficiency, brewing is not the right hobby for you.
Well, no, but within the realm of the context of the situation, Warren.
Okay.
But certainly, you
propane,
never out of
propane.
that kind of thing is great.
Yeah, and
Get
I
in
mean,
the game.
propane's awesome because it is the same worldwide. Like, a propane tank's a propane tank, where electricity, we have different plugs, we have different voltages and amperages and all of that.
Right.
Natural gas varies all over the place. So propane has its advantages in brewing outdoors, taking it with you.
Yeah.
But typically you have to brew outdoors. The excess carbon monoxide you're going to create and such. And
Well, it's advised.
it is advised.
Yeah.
And my lawyer said I had to say you have to.
Yeah, right, exactly right, yeah. As a homebrew
What
shop owner.
percentage of homebrew do you think is made indoors on a kitchen stove?
On a kitchen stove, like an actual kitchen stove?
Yeah.
The first 3 batches are probably always done that way,
By everybody that starts.
and then the wives kick them out.
I talked to a lot of, because I talked to a lot of renters and stuff like that, and I think a lot of people freaking homebrew right in the apartments and stuff like that.
They continue to do it full volume?
Yeah, 5 gallon. Well, yeah, you do. Well, they do. 5 gallon full. Yeah, full.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's like, at least now my home stove, I don't think 5 gallons would take.
Well, I asked them, like how long does it take to come to a boil?
Yeah.
I'm not sure it ever does. Like,
Yeah, exactly. I used to span 2 burners in college just hoping for that lucid boil, and it never came.
And I asked, everything, you got to be careful about leaks, right? Are you upstairs? Oh, yeah, we're on the 3rd floor.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I always tell people, if you're a renter, you can't homebrew. Don't even start. It's just going to be frustrating.
You can, but you don't want to. And homebrewing's like one of these things, I think nowadays, you get into it because you like something about it.
Right.
You like a process.
The do-it-yourself aspect.
Exactly. And
making your own drug, I like that part.
Yeah. And it's some process of it that you find that you get a value out of. Yeah. Whether it's the process, the sharing, the whatever it is.
Awards.
Or even one of the weird sub-hobbies of water chemistry, welding.
Yeah, I never really, when I was homebrewing, I mean, the end result was fine, but I really liked just the process of adjusting the valves and looking at the temperatures and having shit to do and adjusting flow and stuff like that. The kegging's always sucked.
You like that? Because you tend to suck at it.
No, I was great at it. Are you kidding me? I don't know.
He would swear in our back room just the entire brew day.
Well, look, I enjoyed. Okay.
That's how he sounds when he's happy.
Oh, that's the therapist. Sorry, I didn't realize that was part of the.
You're going to reset. You're going to reset about $250,000 worth of therapy, Chris. Let's just go on with the revisionist history, and we're fine with it. But now I like the recipe formulation because I have one of these machines, so I enjoy that. Sure. And then tasting the after effects. I don't like the packaging part and the kegging and the cleaning and all. I've always hated that shit. I can't fucking deal with it. That's what I need automated.
And I agree with you. That's the part I hate the most too. Is the final parts of beer making isn't nearly as exciting to me as the brew day. The brew day is the hero day. It's everyone thinks that's what makes the beer, and once you do it enough, you start realizing you can do anything you want in that part because if you screw up the next two parts, you're hosed.
You're screwed. Yeah.
But it's like I can stay sober for 6 hours, and I can do that part really good. But you want me to stay sober for 2 weeks?
Yeah,
get this fermentation.
Not gonna happen. Did I tell you I have kids?
Right. Yeah.
I can't do. Okay, so the automatic machines. That's definitely a way to go.
Oh God, I don't know if that's the way to go.
Well, it's a way to go.
It's a way to go, and it's pretty pimpin'. And there's
So the advantages there are what? Like repeatability.
Oh, let's talk automated, like fully automated.
Let's do that.
There's two in my mind that come to mind: the Zymatic and the brewery.
Okay,
and the brewery's kind of late to the game, but it's different.
Yeah, I saw them at NHC. It was cool.
They're different in that they do the one thing I always had a problem with Zymatics for was the boil. Yeah. And I didn't like the recirculated boil. That just bothered the bejesus out of me. And I don't know why it does, but it does.
Yeah, why? Have you been able to pin it down? Why?
So how many German brew houses or anything?
Tradition.
It is.
Oh, weren't we just talking shit about Jason for wanting traditional beer styles? Oh, what an asshole
Get with
is.
the times. Move to a conservative state.
I like driving off all the DMS. I like driving off things by a proper boil that has a lot of evaporation going on.
Yeah.
And I like it all to be in one vessel. I think that's cool. And that to me is the sole difference in differences between the two. There's probably a billion software differences, a billion other little differences, but you actually boil the whole thing right there. It's got its own vessel. It's an open top vessel. You watch it boil. You can add to it if you want to.
Okay.
So not only, and maybe that's the other part. Not only do you have 4 pods that you can pre-add your hops, you can actually just come in and add whatever you want in addition to it. So that's my sole argument of one over the other. And it's also 5 gallons versus 2.5 gallons.
Okay.
Which more the merrier. When I'm going to do work, I want it all to be done.
Right. Right.
Yeah, when I went from extra to all grain, I doubled my batch size because it was going to be more work.
I was going to say, sometimes people quadruple it, from the standpoint of once I'm going to take that extra work, it doesn't take much more time except cleaning kegs.
You get a buddy over, you can split that up and still have a lot of beer.
Exactly, yeah. Guest brewers, things like that. So the fully automated brew houses, those two in mind, those are pretty pimpin'. And I think really the great audiences, for those of us who loved brewing but don't want to have the time, don't have the space.
Right.
Those are pretty cool systems, and I should probably have one of those two at home, and I don't.
They're dope, dude. I like them.
Yeah. And like Mike, I remember talking to you about it when you were working on the Tasty project. Try out that Pico brew because you hadn't at the time. Yeah. And even if you didn't even do the boil in it, just to have it run the mash schedule for you, because you're not going to probably match those numbers on your own on a repeatable basis.
So repeatable. I recommend it. I talked about that. I did a talk on repeatability, and I mentioned that as a way to make sure ensure that.
And those are relatively inexpensive.
For what you're doing, man.
And do you if I was to brew on those on a regular basis, I'm not going to walk away and be like, I'm a home brewer. I'm going to be like, I made beer on it, but it's a different feeling.
Okay.
After a traditional, we'll go back to traditional brew day,
yeah.
I feel like you should have had to have MacGyvered something throughout that day. That's part of a good day, and you did a lot of that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I blame the equipment more than the operation.
Fix something.
Yeah. Much which he's throwing across the room.
But sometimes that's half the fun.
Right.
Like presented with a problem, overcoming a problem. And when electricity goes out, these two little internet of things suck.
Yeah.
Because they don't work anymore.
Right.
But
we don't live in Uganda. Like, the power doesn't go out all that often.
I do work in Pittsburgh.
All right.
But
no offense to Uganda.
They're angry now. They're going to boycott the show.
Once their power comes back on, they'll download this and be very upset.
They'll be very mad.
So anyway, that to me is like the height of a different style of brewer, and one that I think is awesome in that you get to be connected to this hobby. Either you had in the past or you wanted to be connected to, and something is stopping you from wanting to do it. If you wanted to do it, let's say, with a traditional 3-vessel or 2-vessel system.
Well, just an extract, which is not, that's where people typically start.
Sure.
They don't start with an all-grain nano system.
It is amazing, though. I will say this from a standpoint of, like, even talking to brewers, seeing what the AHA is doing in their surveys, all grain is becoming a much more common thing than I remember 15 years ago, 20 years ago.
Pretty much people are starting
even
with that.
as a start. I don't know how many truly start that way, but they at least report that way.
Well, you're selling all grain and extract kits. What's the ratio of sales, like, just in general?
Oh, the extract beats it out.
Does.
Yeah, but we sell a lot of just grains, like 10-pounders.
So you don't know how many batches that
So I can't always compare them.
Sure. But dollar sales are...
A lot of times people buy the kit and then just keep the recipe and just order the ingredients because they're smart.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't buy a kit unless I knew the ingredients in the kit.
No, but I'm saying then they don't buy the kit the next time.
No,
buy the ingredients.
Yeah, they say the recipe or whatever.
Yeah. That's why you buy a kit. It's starting point.
Exactly. And we don't have a problem with that. But we
have a lot of kits.
We can't compare the extract and the all grains as easily because of that.
That's right. You have no data discipline. I get it.
But I think that's like the start of just the cool thing of brewing you can do nowadays. And you can get apps on your phone, and you can be notified when things are here or there. And it's like, that's pretty pimping.
Some gadgetry.
That's pretty cool.
There's some sizzle there for sure.
I'd say one of the cooler sizzles that are out there, as Mike just said, is the Easy Dens. I don't know if you guys have seen this thing.
I saw the price, and I turn the other way around.
Yeah, of course. That's what we're supposed to do.
That's what this is about. Yeah. What is an Easy Den?
Anton Par makes professional lab equipment that you go to Sierra Nevada,
right?
And you go up on the deck, and they've got one per deck, and these are $5,000 units that'll show you your reading right there, and it is dead accurate. I mean, it is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a proprietary technology that they own, and so they decided to make a homebrew version that you don't have a readout on the device. It's an app on your phone, and it Bluetooths to your phone and gives you the readout right there,
and
which I think is kind of cooler.
What's showing you gravity and
gravity and temperature. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then I looked at that and I thought, like, well, in terms of like home brewing, it seems like excessive, but
it's totally
if I was
excessive.
a commercial brewery and I could adjust like temperature to control like a curve like fermentation gravity, I could maybe like program it to match a curve, so every batch you made match the same fermentation curve kind of thing.
That'd be the dream.
Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, that's the data.
That's how you get the data with low samples, quick reads. And so what we're finding is, we have our More Beer line, and then we have our More Beer Pro line, and we finally did the work and made More Beer Pro truly a pro site. And we sell way more of those to the people who aren't supposed to buy them. So hopefully Austria is not listening to this. Because they're like, no, don't sell this to professional brewers. This is for home brewers only.
Oh, no.
They don't care. They just want money. I mean,
so how much is this?
$525.
Oh, I was expecting worse.
Yeah, I was expecting worse too.
But think about it. I mean, refractometers 10 years ago were like, oh, you have a refractometer?
Sure, yeah.
Equipment. And those were like $100
easily.
Yeah, and these are $500 to do the same thing essentially.
Yeah, I could break a lot of hydrometers.
Yeah,
for $500.
The other product, the Beer Bug, I think is less than that too. It does basically the same thing.
Beer Bug is they're one of the ones who came into the industry based off of the numbers. We worked with them quite a bit. We became their distributor for a while, and they're one who had planned on all this money being in the industry. So they've actually been bought and sold now. And the new company, I think, will do a good job with it. So I haven't lost hope because I also have a lot of inventory of them. So please buy them. And they're like a live read. The biggest problem they did was there was nothing else but a web live read. So if their server has issues, you have issues. As opposed
it's Wi-Fi to their server, and then
you couldn't Bluetooth or Wi-Fi to your device to get that. And so when they got in trouble, they paid their high ups quite a bit of money for doing nothing, as a lot of technology companies go. Long story short, cool device, great device. And in fact, I always encourage them to make a professional one because that's exactly the market. If you could control your ferments based off of real-time gravities without paying Siemens billions of dollars to get that, that's a company, Jason.
Oh, right.
Yes,
it's not a buzz.
Oh, so I shouldn't be adding that to the fermenter.
Yeah, well, you can. That's what makes a true Belgian wit. But,
yeah, I've talked to the new owners of the Beer Bug, Connor. I think?
Connor.
Yeah,
is his name.
I think he's going to do
SensorShare.
Yes, thank you. I think they're going to do pretty good.
I hope
not
so
SensorShare.
too.
No, that's iDib. That's iDib.
Oh,
yeah. I forget. I don't know. I forget. But,
yeah, because they don't want it called the Brew Bug anymore.
No, they're totally rebranding because of these. I think because of a lot of these issues,
history.
and they've done a lot of stuff. So and he's pumped about it too, which is really cool. Like
he was the software company, right? That wrote the software for them.
I don't even know. I think they got sold. They got sold and they got sold again.
Oh, okay.
So he's a new dude, and I think, as far as I know, I don't know. I'm trying to get him on to talk about it, and he's going to do it whenever he launches again, and just kind of because I think people care about it. I liked the Beer Bug. I thought it was really cool to use.
And there's a tweener product now called a Tilt.
A Tilt?
Yeah, Tilt.
A Tilt.
And those are cool little products too. And that's the opposite. There's no web interface. It's all local. It's all Bluetooth to your phone.
All right.
But you get your data there. And it's about $100 as opposed to $160. So it's a bit less.
Yeah.
But you don't get the cool features. I mean, and it's smart. They don't have to build web servers that are keeping this data in line and keeping it safe. And I mean, who needs safety?
No one else can know my profiles.
My original gravity.
Right. How dare you?
Great concept, and it works off of a very simple principle. As it floats, they make it to where it tilts, and they just measure the degree of tilt. And that's how you do that in a bunch of samples, and you get a curve going.
How can you read it with like a high Krausen?
It's just floating in there. It's not going to float up on the foam. It's just going to float in the liquid.
So you have to wait until...
No, it's Bluetoothing. It's sending
okay,
signals.
I got it.
It can go through stainless. It can go through barrels.
You don't have to sit there and read the tilt and
No.
It's not like a hydrometer.
It sends you the data.
So do you have to give it an original gravity, I assume?
I believe...
when you put it in...
I believe so.
I think it would have to, right?
Yeah.
Right.
What's that?
So you give it an OG and then it does
Yes. I believe you're right. I believe you do have to give it that initial.
Yeah, because you have to do the same with the Beer Bug also, which would make sense because it's not going to know. It's not running a thing. It's just
it's
the
also
buoyancy,
help calibrating.
right?
It'll come close. Like a Beer Bug, I used it a few times. I would calibrate it separately and then put it in my wort, and it'd be really close to the hydrometer.
Oh, okay.
So I bet you the tilt's the same way where it's close, but you're going to get your best results if you use your Easy Dens.
Right.
Get your exact measurement.
Look at you.
And by the way, if
he's
you're
a
balling,
professional.
you have your servant do all this work for you.
That's true.
Yeah.
Put it
That's
on
true.
his things to do list.
Yeah. Right. All right. What else can we do?
So and writing my little cheat sheet down, this reminded me of the ultimate baller homebrewer, who's this guy in New York.
Seriously, prison.
One of these Finger Lakes, you got a few of them in northern, and one splits, and there's 10 acres of grapes and stuff growing right at the tip of this most famous one, Yucca or some Indian name.
This guy owns it.
And this guy owns it.
I see. He's a money no object guy.
And he started with nothing, and he was a pilot, bought one plane, and started flying cargo with it, and then got his friend to do the same, then got a friend to do the same. Now they fly
cargo.
Then they fly for FEMA, and that's how he makes his real money. Is
milking the government.
Okay, got it.
So long
Government
story
contractor.
short,
Puerto Rico.
this is the way this guy. So this is true balling. Calls me up, says I've never brewed beer. I like Labatt's Blue Ribbon.
Yeah.
I want you to set me up. Money's no expense. I just want you to set me up, and then you're going to fly out and teach me how to brew.
Again, money's
and then.
So I do. It's like a 14-page invoice of all these things that nobody ever needs.
We high-fived that day, I think.
I think we did. I think you were there.
I was there.
And so I fly out. I brew with the guy. He didn't pay one bit of attention. Really? He had one of his cooks watch me do it. And then
One of.
Yeah, and then has me fly back again for another event because he was having a team building exercise. And he's like, yeah, I never did learn that first time, so had me fly back again. Had one guy go to Pennsylvania who's hunting venison, brought those back. Another guy fly to Maine, bring lobsters in. And this guy's like, hey guys, we're brewing beer today.
Right.
And I was basically a professional bitch brewing beer for him while he smoked cigars, brought his friends around. They ate venison, and I did too. That was cool.
All right, well, that's good. You gave the help some.
But
that's
I'm
nice.
this is the ultimate high-end brewer. He couldn't even tell you what he owns.
No idea.
About $25,000 worth of stuff, and he wouldn't have
the money's no object thing for sure.
Yeah.
I think he's still using it.
No, but maybe
he
one
never
of his
has used it.
That cook must.
Yeah.
How'd the Labatts turn out?
It was terrible.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like, you want me to make a clone for what? I watched Strange Brew 3 times just to get in the spirit of
I think you have to.
Yeah.
I think you have to. What else can we do on the high-end side of things?
Good
there,
Lord.
Chris Graham?
So, great timing on asking to do this. So, Brew Your Own recently just did a large-scale homebrew systems comparison guide.
Oh.
Where they compare...
And you're going to read the whole article to us.
So, page 1.
Yeah. But they do, I think it's 16 different systems.
Wow, there are that many options now?
I would never have thought there were that many options.
That's why I bring this up. Even a chart.
Wow.
With check marks and
2-page chart.
Let me see that thing. Unless you're going to look at it right now.
Yeah. And so you got all kinds of systems were mentioned in there.
I hope so.
Oh, yeah, I would hope so.
Blickman SS has a gorgeous system, but it's $15,000.
Whoa.
Coming out. Psycho Brew's got some cool ones. Sabco, Ruby
Psycho
Street.
Brew. Never heard of them.
Spike.
They're right up your alley.
Brewmation.
That's what it means.
All kinds of companies I hadn't heard of, which I should know of, are in there.
Yeah, in your business.
Remote controlled. Are you serious?
Yeah, but all of a sudden, that's the one thing we're dinged for, huh?
And Wi-Fi or Bluetooth enabled.
Yes, I do not enable it.
You're not enabled.
It's not a part of the new touchscreen system?
New touchscreen might have an available upcoming companion app, but there's no way I'm letting you turn on a burner from afar.
Right.
I'm just not going to allow
Come on.
Well, not from afar, from the phone.
There's a thing called safety.
I could be sitting right next to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Honey, I'm going to brew today. All right. And
I
you
have
melt
a
your kettle or whatever.
touchscreen if you're sitting next to it that you just touch.
Well,
that is remote, I guess, right? You're touching a button. It's fine.
Well, your system, will it fire up the strike water without you being there?
I'm working on that. So we're building.
That's the only automation I wanted.
We're building electric now. And that's the one I'll do that with. Because an open flame that turns on at 4 in the morning scares me. But an electric element coming on at 4 in the morning doesn't bother me.
I did that myself. I had a standing pilot like that.
Yeah. And you know what? You build that yourself, and anything happens, that'll be okay.
I have to have insurance.
Yeah. And the next thing you know, you have the Tubbs fire running through all the flame.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of the fires, I'm going to interrupt you here for a second, Chris, and we're going to get Natalie on the phone.
Oh, cool.
My lovely producer reminded me that it was time to do that. So we're going to get Natalie on the phone from Russian River, and we're going to talk about the Sonoma Pride fundraiser that they're doing up there to raise money for everybody. And I'm really excited about this. You know, it's the one small way that we can give back to the community. Is very much just information. That's what we do. We just deliver and disseminate information.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. She probably doesn't recognize the phone.
That's what it is.
Caller ID. Hell no.
Well, because it's
Please leave your message for... Johnny Lanta.
Oh, that was the wrong number.
That sounds like the wrong number, Beverly. Johnny Lanta, whoever Johnny Lanta is.
Let me double check this.
Can't we leave a voicemail?
Yeah. Please do. My voice is my passport. Please verify. Yeah, here, just read me the number.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, no.
Okay.
Oh, do you want Vinny's? Or
Yeah, right, yeah.
I'll read you off.
Oh, my God, we got Natalie's.
I got it right here, 707.
No,
827.
Here's Vinny's cell. That'll get to him.
Right, yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, just message
Why
me
listen
over
to
there.
us? Just
I
ask
will.
him yourself.
Right, yeah, just get it from the horse's mouth. right here.
I like that I couldn't spell Vinny's last name, so I just had to use the C.
Nobody can.
Oh, no, dude, I can't either.
Nobody can.
Chorizo, I think, is his last name.
I wish it was.
Delicious.
That's definitely how I pronounce it.
Bev, give me the number.
I just sent it to you. What did I screw up?
I don't know. You fucking moron.
Oh.
There's no H in his phone number.
I dialed it.
1877.
You transposed the last two digits. Now here's the problem. Which time did you screw up?
Uh-oh.
Was there more than one?
I don't know. We're gonna find out.
Same guy's like,
okay,
stop
here we go.
calling me.
Right.
She's probably like, they're 1 minute late. Fuck these people. These amateurs. But I wouldn't be surprised if the caller ID kind of... Because it throws everybody, because it doesn't come from, like, it doesn't say...
I think it says a bunch of zeros.
Hey,
too.
Natalie, this is Jason from the Brewing Network.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. I'm going to put you guys on speakerphone. I got Vinny here and
perfect.
our cat Growler.
Nice.
Yeah. How are you doing?
We're doing well. We're doing well. How are you guys doing up there?
We're doing good. We're a little tired, so excuse us for being
I
a little
bet.
tired, but we're doing fine.
Yeah,
we're better than a lot of people up here. There's a lot of emotion and
a lot of sadness.
And yeah, it's an interesting time up here.
Yeah, I bet. And sorry, go ahead, Vinny.
I would say we haven't lost anything, directly, and sorry about we haven't lost anything directly, but it's still very emotional.
It's affecting everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
guy delivering bulk CO2 today to the production brewery. It was his first day back, and I said, "Well, how are you?" And he goes, "Well, I'm just emotionally spent, but I spent the last week protecting my family's property, and they were putting out fires on their property, and Cal Fire told them to go, but at the same time, he's like, if we would have left, we probably would have lost our my house, my mom's house, my sister's, whatever." It was
Right.
just like, oh my God.
Yeah, you just keep hearing these stories over and over again, and like the guy that delivers our paper products for the pub, Trini from Sackville. He came in on it was like Friday.
Yeah.
Friday was the first day I saw him back, and he comes in, he's in his sweats and a t-shirt, and I was like, oh. And sure enough, he and his wife, they lost their house in Coffee Park, and just gave him a bunch of clothes, and yeah, everybody.
Yeah, that's rough, and we won't take too much of your time because, I understand that you guys are having a lot of stuff to do, but I do want to talk about the fundraising you guys are doing. But, even being down here in the Bay Area, 60, 100 miles or so from what's going on, it is very much, we still feel very part of the community, and there's a lot of fundraising going on down here. A lot of people are sending up clothes and food and water and all that kind of stuff, and we're, donating like crazy, all the money that we can send up there, because it's very much I don't know. I read this news article where there's so much outpouring of gifts and donations and clothes and food that some shelters are saying, you just stop. Thank you very much. We're full. Just start donating money, because that's what we're going to be needing moving forward to help these people rebuild is actual just cash.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, everybody's been so incredibly generous. But the shelters and the donation centers and everything are like, enough is enough already. We crying uncle, if you will. But certainly money is what we're going to need. We have
gift cards is what they're.
Oh, really?
Gift cards and cash. Yeah.
a great idea. If someone wants to do something, you're like, man, I'm a little short on money, but I want to do something. One of our employees had an idea. So, we've got a group of company credit cards that we all use, and we had like 500,000 points on them or whatever, and we converted them into $50, like $50 gift cards as Target gift cards. That's what people need. They need, our electrician for the new brewery. So, get this. Our electrician for the new brewery loses his house. His parents lose their house. The engineer for the wastewater treatment plant for the new brewery loses his house. The guy that's doing the security for the new brewery loses his house. The supplier of, the stone and brick for the new brewery loses his house.
Wow.
It just goes on and on. We had employees lose their place. Employees' family. Our GM at the pub, his family lost 3 houses just in a family, and that's not the only time I've heard that. It's crazy, but
they don't even have clean underwear,
So
they have anything.
They just want to be able to go to JCPenney's or Target or Kohl's or Walmart or whatever and just buy some socks, a T-shirt. Our electrician told us a story yesterday. He swung through the pub to grab a pizza, and he was like, yeah, someone gave me a bag of clothes, and I really appreciate it. But by the time I got through it and found 1 or 2 T-shirts that fit me, now I have 2 bags of clothes that I need to give away. And he doesn't have a house.
Right, and that's that's kind of the problem. And I would imagine that going through that trauma, is life changing enough, right, and hard enough to come back and bounce back from. But the underlying issues of how do I dress and going and digging through someone's old clothes to find stuff that doesn't fit. It's almost like you're rummaging. Maybe that's how I would feel, and I would feel like it'd be harder to come back from that trauma a little bit, rather than here's money to get things that you actually will wear and that fit you.
Right, and I think it really comes down to pride and dignity. A lot of people are they're kind of proud, and they don't want to take handouts, and they're just going to the store and putting things on their credit cards. And fortunately, the insurance companies have been here just handing out $20,000 checks to people at least to get them started. But what about the family who, this is a true story, hangs out at our pub, regular customers, super sweet family, lose everything on Monday morning. They're renters, and they don't have renters insurance.
They lost it.
Have help. They get nothing. And so those are the people that we want to help with our fundraiser, with the Sonoma Pride fundraiser, because those are the people we're looking for. But they have absolutely nothing.
Yeah, let's talk about
another thing that came up yesterday, again from Steve, our electrician, and came in. I have an old friend from Southern California who was up here working for CAL FIRE, bulldozing and stuff, heavy equipment operator, and I was there having a beer, and our electrician Steve came in, and I said, you came in for pizza, what else did you do? And he's like, I went to JCPenney, got a few things, and he goes, I just went and got a haircut. Like something as simple as that. I didn't even think about that, something like just want to feel clean and normal.
Human being again.
So, gets me thinking to go down the street to the haircut place that, probably all of your listeners that have been to Planet of the Younger have stood in front of for hours during Planet of the Younger release. Yeah, Supercuts, and go down and buy some gift cards and take those in as well. So
or just rent out a couple of the. Sorry, go ahead.
That was you. Go ahead.
I was going to say rent out a couple of the what are the supercuts people call them, super stylists or whatever, I don't know, and go to the shelters and be like, here, give haircuts. Give haircuts to everybody. It's something, and it's something, because you're right. It's something as easy as that just makes you feel a little bit more. It's trauma recovery, right? It's basic trauma recovery, and that's what people need.
That's what one of the hot commodities right now is a warm shower.
Oh wow!
Just to somebody in the evacuation centers, I think, may have access to showers, but because power was out, in so much of our community, even if people were home. Oh, and then PG&E came around and shut off gas. So a lot of people were evacuated to members or friends, and they may have had power, but they didn't have gas. And so everybody's taking cold showers.
Even those people that didn't lose their house.
Yeah, it was like, we know of a family that had at one point between the three siblings and their spouses that lost their homes, our general manager and his wife and their parents, there was there was grandkids and there was pets, and there was like 19 people in this house at one point.
Gee.
They had a couple of brand new units, and maybe like a unit over the garage or whatever, but they didn't have gas, and so all these people were taking cold showers, which is not a very enticing.
No,
not
at all. That doesn't help anybody on a good day.
No.
Let's talk a little bit about the Sonoma Pride fundraising and the King Ridge Foundation. If you guys just would let our listeners know a little bit about this kind of this foundation, what you guys are doing to help everybody in your community.
Yeah, so a little background. A few years ago, Natalie and I had this idea to create this kind of secondary brand behind Russian River, with the name Sonoma Pride, just kind of based on the premise of like celebrating all the greatness that Sonoma County is. It's one of the most beautiful places to be, and whether you live here or visit, and just celebrate all the great things we have here: beer, wine, spirits, chocolate, chicken, turkey, vinegar, olive oil, you name it. Like the coast, the beautiful coast out in Bodega Bay, and I go on and on, and so we brewed 2 beers under the label for the last few years, the Masa and Down Hour, and interestingly, both names have to do with the beer, the hop industry back here, in this area 50 or so, 60 years ago. And, interestingly, Down Hour references the old hop picker that, or the original hop picker that was invented here in Santa Rosa, and by this gentleman by the name of Florian Down Hour. And the building that he built the first ever hop picker in America is on the other side of the freeway from the pub on 5th Street, and right across the street from this little English pub, Toad in the Hole. And the company that's in it now is Bike Monkey, and Carlos Perez that has Bike Monkey and helps put on the
Grand Fondo,
the Grand Fondo, which is a fundraiser cycling event. He heads up the nonprofit that we're working with. And so it's this really weird connection that he's in the original, Down Hour building now.
Where the hop harvesting machine was invented.
Literally was invented.
Now we're connected through the Sonoma Pride fundraiser.
Yeah.
How weird is that?
So
I love it.
So when the fire started a week ago, a day or two in, once we kind of came up for air, I said to Natalie, we should really leverage that Sonoma Pride name and see what we can do with the beer industry, and we kind of ran with it.
Great gesture.
So the first thing was just simple donations, and then another obvious was what's a huge draw to the area for beer enthusiasts, and that's Pliny the Younger, which is coming up. So Natalie and I said, something we would never do, but if there was ever a time to do it, this is it, and that would be to offer line cutting privileges for Pliny the Younger. So we set the raffle price at $25 a ticket. We didn't want to make it too expensive to where someone couldn't afford it, but also the average person that's into beer is like, $25. I get a chance to, line cut with for myself and a friend. And then the third thing is brewing a beer. So we have right at this point about 3 dozen breweries signed up to make, their version or whatever they want, whatever beer they want, using the Sonoma Pride name. or maybe they have their own name, which is fine. And they're all contributing the proceeds from their, beer to the nonprofit. And so it's pretty cool. It's SonomaPride.com. So we converted the website to a fundraiser and working with the King Ridge Foundation. So I'm looking at it right now, and it's $123,866 that we've raised in about 4 days.
Wow!
So it's gone really good, and that's just with people donating and buying, raffle tickets. So we're basically
not even the beer yet.
Yeah, it's not even the beer yet.
What I love
it's going to be huge, I think.
What I love about the raffle is that
we just brewed our beer yesterday.
Yeah, I saw a picture.
And there's about, like I said, 3 dozen other breweries that are all starting to brew a beer this week, and they're not just breweries in Sonoma County; they're all over the United States. I mean, everything from Boston Beer, doing stuff to regional breweries, and the Bay Area Fieldworks is doing something, and Sonoma County, almost every brewery, Fog Belt, 3rd Street, Moonlight, Cooperage, Berry Public's doing a ton of stuff. They were the first. We talked to Rich, and he's just like, we need to do something, and we were like, yeah, we have this idea, and he just jumped on board, and Hen House and Plow, and that's Crooked Goat, and I just got a text from Jeremy at Lagunitas, like, what can I do? What can we do?
Oh, that's cool, man.
But it goes beyond that too. Like I said, breweries from outside the area, Arizona Wilderness, those guys have such this love for Sonoma County, and Jonathan's been texting me every day, oh my God, the numbers at 60,000. It's at 80,000. It's at 100,000.
It's crazy. I mean, even before the show, I was looking at the site and I hadn't refreshed it. So when you said the 123,866, I'm like, Vinny's lost his damn mind. He did. And then I hit refresh. Not only it went up $1,000, but there were so many more participating breweries on the website, and it does feel like it's becoming a movement. And I think it's great. And what I love about the line cutting ticket is that so many people come for Planet of the Younger outside of the area. So you're getting people who maybe don't even live in Northern California or California at all. And they come and make a vacation out of it to come to your place, to come to Planet of the Elder. But now they're able to donate and help the place that they come and no, I don't want to say party at, but vacation at and enjoy and become a beer tourist. And I think that's a cool way to kind of tie everybody in, and you make it more of less of a local or a state issue, and you make it more just a community thing. I really appreciate that.
So it's 14 line cutting privileges, so one each day for 2 people each day. So we're going to draw 14 names and then over 3 days, and those people will get to pick someone else, or it's transferable.
Yeah, say somebody can't show up and they're just like, it turns out I can't come. They can transfer it. They can say, but my brother, blah, 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 and his wife or whatever are going to come. It's
I love those people.
And I had,
or a gift. It'd be a lovely Christmas gift.
Yeah,
I had somebody in the pub say, if I win, I'm giving my line cutting privileges to a local first responder.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is really cool.
You're going to start making me choke up, Vinny.
Army of
people here.
People here fighting the fire.
Vinny and I had a beer yesterday with a friend of his from high school who's up here. He works for CAL FIRE, and he came up with heavy equipment to put lines over in Napa. And then today I was in the pub. I had an interview or something, and went up and talked to the guys from San Diego, firefighters from San Diego, and they happen to be from Julian, which is my hometown.
Oh, nice.
And the fire station in Julian is right across the street from the high school where I went. It was just, I don't know, it's been really heartwarming to see all of these people from all over the place here just in our community trying to help us get through this catastrophe. It's been pretty amazing.
I heard someone say, you don't know how strong you can be until it is your only option.
to be strong.
Yeah, and that was someone had called into the local radio station, KSRO, which has done an amazing job, and said that. I don't know who this person was, if they had lost their place or whatever, but it was. I wrote it down, and because I thought it was really poignant. And people, you see, natural disasters on TV and tragedies and whatever that may be, and you hear people say, "Oh my God, the community has really come together." But honestly, until you've actually lived through it, and again, I mean, Natalie and I didn't lose anything, but through our pub just being this gathering spot, it's been really emotional and it really affected us. And it's really true. The community does come together. I mean, just the fact that our friend Melissa from the Good Hop came up yesterday with literally a
26-foot truck.
26-foot truck full of stuff.
Wow.
They thought that it would just be a car and then two cars, and they're like, we need to rent a van or U-Haul, whatever, and bring it up. And I mean, to the point, it's become so communal between the whole Bay Area that they're saying we don't need anything now. We literally just need gift cards. I saw this gal leaving the parking lot of the pub yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was packed full of toilet paper, and I'm thinking to myself, geez, I better get to CVS and get some toilet paper.
Make sure I run out.
Costco
before they run out. I mean, but that's how it's been. And like you said earlier, even down in the East Bay and San Francisco, it affects everyone. And just Melissa coming up yesterday and telling that story was very sweet. And then just the stories that the locals have told us, in the pub, and it's been really emotional for our staff. And Natalie and I just couldn't be more proud of all of our staff for just being there for the community. And it's really heartwarming and just extremely sad and tragic at the same time. And the word that just keeps coming to my mind is just surreal. The whole thing is surreal to be here through this. So I mean, we're fortunate that the pub has been this kind of gathering spot. But man, someone that's lost everything, I can't imagine even to think what that's like.
No, it's tragic beyond words, man. But it sounds like the community that you guys have helped build, I mean, up there has been really strong and just even civically, right, beyond the beer. And thanks for putting this together. I mean, you guys are raising a ton of money and you're not done yet.
Got a long ways to go, and you're helping, because I know, when we were down in Australia with you guys, we learned that Tasty was bigger in Australia than Vinny. So I'm hoping that all Tasty's fans down in Australia, I'm giving you a big shout out. I want you to go to SonaPride.com.
Well, people down there have a lot of sunstroke, so.
Yeah, it's
I want you to
down.
enter to win line cutting privileges for Fine as a Younger the first 2 weeks of February 2018.
SonomaPride.com. Vinny, Natalie, thank you very much for taking time out of your day or your evening and to sit here with us for a little bit. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I really appreciate your time, you guys.
Look forward to coming in person sometime soon.
Yeah, please do. We got a lot of questions. We're saving them up.
Yeah. All right, cool.
All right.
Take
Bye,
care.
guys.
Thanks for all you do.
Guys. Bye.
Bye.
Cool.
Very cool.
I mean, it sucks, but it's cool at the same time, right?
It's cool to see beer at kind of the center focal point of recovery.
Right. Well, a pub being a pub.
Yeah.
That's what pubs used to be, the gathering place where people would go work shit out.
Exactly. We're
not like a beer hall in Germany, or is that
well, yeah, less pubs might have been more productive than beer halls.
Well, that's true. I'm going to call our friend Shady Steve here real fast to talk a little bit more about fundraising efforts going on in Santa Rosa. Steve, are you there, my friend?
It's not coming through. Hold on one second.
Oh my God!
Oh, it's a shady connection.
Yeah, well, he bought the knockoff.
Right. He's probably got a wire running to his neighbor's house.
That's what happens when you steal Wi-Fi.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm here.
Steve.
Yo.
How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How you guys holding up?
We're doing all right. We're doing all right. Definitely not as affected as you all are up there, but you know, we're keeping
I
track.
heard it got pretty horribly smoky and everything down there, but you know,
yeah, if you guys could stop
here
that.
too.
Yeah, you know, our kids did have to stay home.
We're working on it. All
We
right.
suffered here.
Yeah, you know, I caught myself flipping one time. I was like, man, it's so annoying because even out in Oakley, it wasn't. I mean, the air was bad, right? But in the house, it kind of got a little smoky. It's like, God, that sucks. And then I had to stop and check myself. I'm like, imagine being there, being in Santa Rosa, being in Napa, being near the fires, and losing everything. Like, just chill the fuck out for a second. And it was it's a weird time for I think for me not being up there, right, and involved in it, but still kind of being affected as we are down here, just being part of the community. It's been a trip in a bad way. You know what I mean? Are you there? Did I lose you?
Oh.
I lost him.
Bad connection.
Okay. For a second there, I thought I totally fucking insulted him. I was like,
right.
no, I'm trying to, like, be cool.
Yeah, he hung up on you.
Yeah, he's like, fuck.
I thought Steve was going to say, good point.
Yeah. Or like, yeah, you know what, Jason, that's a very good point, and I think you're very handsome. And
it shows a lot of growth.
Yeah, it really does.
You're normal. I didn't even
Hello.
know.
Are you there?
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah,
No, you sound a lot
cell
better.
reception is still spotty in places, so...
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Well, do me a
Yeah,
favor, man.
so-
I won't repeat my awesome commentary, which what I'm sure would pull on your heartstrings. But instead, let's talk about the community up there and what you guys are doing to help out. I see a lot of stories about the wineries and shit like that, but how's the beer community coming together here?
Overall, from what I've seen, beer community is being really strong, just like pretty much everything else. You know, I think I was just listening a little bit to Vinny and Natalie talk. Like, the outpouring we have seen is just amazing. It's unbelievable how much is happening, and donations are being turned away. So much is happening. Beer community is killing it. It's kicking ass. You know, everybody I've talked to is figuring out how to make something, how to blend something, how to get something out there. Most places with tap rooms are, you know, making sure they're donating a certain percentage towards stuff. So it's been touching. You know, this has been so just incredibly devastating to everybody here, and seeing that is just like, it's really, really nice to see.
How close did those fires get to downtown Santa Rosa where you are? You're on 1st Street, right, in Santa Rosa?
So, yeah, my location is on 1st Street, so the location itself was fine. I live in Rican Valley, which is right in the line of it.
Oh, wow.
So I had to evacuate at 2 or 3 in the morning after, you know, a brutal bottling day. So, you know, I was all excited, like, yeah, I'm going to go home and sleep and, you know, get a night of sleep in my bed and take it easy. And a few hours later, I got frantic phone calls from friends just like, get the fuck out. You need to go now.
Wow.
And, you know, you're beat, tired, and passed out, and you look out the window, and it's like, oh, great, there's 2 orange walls coming at me. Wow. So I guess I need to go now. It was fucking, just something you've never thought you would see. You know?
Absolutely.
But up until the last 2 nights, I finally had power and water at my house, so I haven't been, you know, I didn't get a shower or a hot meal for 5 days, just running around trying to help people out, do whatever, and was sleeping at my barrel house. But this location is fine. My building's, you know, cinder block and concrete, so I wasn't too worried about it as compared to, you know, anywhere further outside of town. But still, you know, I'm just on edge the whole time, worried about friends, neighbors' houses, and just, you know, you're just doing whatever the hell you can.
Is there still that sense of like something can happen at any minute? I know there were a lot of people who didn't even get the call to evacuate. They just saw what was happening, or like you said, their friends and neighbors were telling them. So as opposed to coming from any sort of official capacity, are people still on edge?
That was part of the problem, was that there was this whole like text alert system that didn't work. So a lot of people didn't get that call for the first big, huge thing. Friends in the brewing industry, Greg Cole over at Fog Belt, he didn't get the alert, and someone called him, and he grabbed a few things and walked outside to go to his car, and his front yard was on fire.
Wow.
You know?
Cool.
Yeah, and I didn't know either. It was just people calling me, and I lucked out. My neighborhood just barely escaped something horrible, but that wasn't the case for many, many other people.
I mean, how many people were in that same position as you are that were dead asleep?
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, absolutely.
I know we've lost some people up there, not as many as it could have been, considering the amount of houses and buildings that burned down. But thank
God, man. It could have been worse.
I'm glad your friends cared about you to call you, Steve.
Yeah,
and that you're a light sleeper.
Right, likewise, yeah,
and that you're a light sleeper.
And that's been. What's that?
And that you're a light sleeper, Warren said.
Barely, man. I mean, that was my thing. It's still me on my own here. So prepping for bottling day, when I'm bottling 5 different batches, in bulk batches like this, it had been 3 or 4 days of already working nonstop and being here. So Sunday was like that thing I was looking forward to. Oh my God, I'm going to go home. I'm going to sleep in my bed. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to relax, all that shit. Nope. That all went out the door that night.
I'd offer to help on bottling day because you have people help you every once in a while, but it sounds like too much work. Like you have too much to do. You don't have enough help for me to come in and help.
Right. Yeah, I'm working on that. I'm trying to figure out extra jobs just to bring you up here for.
I'm sure you are.
So we'll figure that out.
No, that's not what he's looking for.
I'm sure that's kept you up at night.
Yeah, it definitely does. No, but seriously, it's the anxiety of it too because we were worried about the winds for many days. The first night was fucking crazy, just insane stuff. You just evacuating and just trying to remember whatever friends you think are in this neighborhood, but you're not getting accurate news of what's exactly going on. So you're just frantically texting everybody at 3 a.m, just being like, "Oh God, are you okay? Are you okay? Come stay at the Barrel House, whatever."
Yeah.
And trying to do that, but then the next few days after that there's all these wind forecasts for things to get crazy again, and we just kind of felt like, at least for me and a lot of my friends, we were all just kind of feeling like, all right, that doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet. It could pick up and winds could shift and we could all just have to be running again. Some very dear friends of mine had to evacuate 3 times.
God.
First time losing their house, they went to their sister's house, had to evacuate, went to another house, had to evacuate, and this is, it's been really, really intense.
That's crazy, man. That's we have friends in Fairfield who were in that same sort of position where we don't know if we have to evacuate. They could see the fires coming over the hill, but it turns out everything. But the winds died down just enough, So, but there was definitely I don't know if we're gonna have to leave.
That's pure luck. The firefighter friends I know, they're just like, it was the perfect storm, of everything going wrong at exactly the worst time, and everything the wind was crazy, and just everything exploded. It's, we live in a tinderbox, you know what I mean? It really is. We had all these, wonderful rains and everything last season, but that meant there was all this stuff on the ground that dried out and was a whole bunch of fuel just ready to go.
Yeah, that's crazy, but it sounds like from what I've read, the fires are being contained somewhat, definitely not as fast as everybody wants, but it's happening. So everyone's up there is getting control.
There's been a pretty big sigh of relief, at least for Santa Rosa. Things feel a lot better now, but when things first started calming down for here, then everybody's like, great, now it's in Calistoga, now it's in Sonoma, Kenwood, Glen Ellen, all over, southern Sonoma County. It was northern Sonoma County and Geyserville. So, we, those of us who didn't lose our houses, the lucky few, it seems like, I think there was 2,800 homes destroyed in Santa Rosa or something like that.
Wow.
Then we have to worry about all our friends in other places in the county.
Yeah.
It just kept coming. It was all these separate fires that were lumping together and just burning wherever the hell the wind took them. So,
wherever they want.
Yeah, it's been intense, and we've just, I've just been ready and barely sleeping, just at a moment's notice to go somewhere and help somebody do God knows what at the drop of a hat. So
that's crazy. Well, the reason we're talking to you is because I saw on your post on your Facebook page on Friday just what you're doing to help everybody and support everybody. So I want you to kind of just fill us in on that a little bit. Yeah,
so there's a few things. For starters, all these shelters are turning away donations. There's only so many bars of deodorant that people can take because they don't have a home to take them to.
Right.
And really what's needed more than anything is cash. Plain and simple. And that's what's going to keep Sonoma County, keep people here and stuff like that. So right now, at least I know what I'm doing is I've taken the last of my kind of big, crazy IPA style hops, and I've just dry hopped as many sours as I could, barrels. And so I'm going to be kegging all of that up and trying to get that out there as far as I can. That's all going to be 100% towards relief, as well as I'm releasing my Cellar Wizard series, which is the fruited sour series, stuff like that. So that's going out there too.
And those are 100%.
And I mean all 100%.
Yeah,
and that's cool. Just what I can think of right now. This isn't something that's going to be done in a week.
No.
People are. It's going to take 2 years for people to get their homes rebuilt, and the people that lucked out and didn't lose their homes might have lost their jobs or things like that. So
but what about you? I mean, how are you going to survive? How are you going to survive if you're giving away all your profits? Not even just all the proceeds. How are you? What are you doing?
Your heart is not big. All. It's a chunk. I'm not open. The tap room isn't open yet. Stuff like that. So I'm just trying to pitch where I can and do what I can. And I think I'll be able to survive with all of this because these are also people that are potentially going to be my customers as well.
Right.
So it's not to sound self-serving in any way like that, but it's like we need to keep people here, man, because people lose their house and their job and stuff like that. What is the point of them trying to stay in Sonoma County where the rent is already something crazy?
Right. Well,
exactly.
It's the
so
same thing.
we need to keep people here.
Yeah, it's the same thing that happened like in New Orleans, right? With Katrina, where people would split, they got bussed out or just left on their own, and then they didn't have anything to come back to, and they can't afford to come back. Was part of that problem too. So you're absolutely right. I mean, keeping people in town to help rebuild, I think is important, especially with the sense of community that you guys seem to have up there.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm not going to say the brewing industry is the only one. Everybody's been doing this, but I'm being in the thick of it. I'm hearing that really thick in the brewing community. Colin from Hen House was driving around to every brewery and checking in on everybody, and he had his vans ready to go. If we need to move people or stuff or whatever, we're ready. Everybody is doing whatever they can. Trying to help out, and I think that's because of the North Bay community. We make a lot of delicious stuff up here, and a lot of that is because of the people and the workers and things like that. And we need to keep that alive to keep Sonoma County alive.
Yeah.
So that's been a big concern, and that's just where we're at right now.
I saw on your post that you're kind of directing people to the Redwood Credit Union page.
Yeah. So there's what's the URL? I think it's
redwoodcu.org / North Bay Fire Relief, all one word.
Yeah, all one word, and you could just type up Redwood Credit Union in Google, and it'll bring you to their front page, and it's on there as well.
Yeah.
That's a local bank here. I mean, I do all my banking with them, as do pretty much every other brewer and anybody I know in the area, and that's going 100% to residents and victims of the fire, Sonoma, Lake, Napa, Mendocino County. So that's kind of the way to push it.
They've raised $4 million in donations.
Wow.
4.2.
It's beautiful, and I've had some international brewers have tried to donate as well, and they've been doing it. And if international brewers are listening, you need to put in an American phone number for that. But otherwise, they're getting a lot of donations internationally as well.
Wow.
And that's what's going to help. Like the stories I've heard from my friends that lost their house. They went to a Red Cross and they handed them like a pair of gloves and some dish soap and sent them on their way. And they're like, "Cool, I'll go put this in my car, I guess." Like, I don't know what the fuck to do with this.
Yeah.
Like, thanks, guys. So it's trying to find, and I don't know if Redwood Credit Union is absolutely the best one, but they're 100%. They're a local bank. They're taking care of their people. So that's the one I've been sending people towards.
Yeah. Well, I think that's cool, man. You know, you guys are really trying to help your people out, and I wanted to highlight it, and I really appreciate it, and of course everybody else does too.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we've been trying. Can I put in a plug real quick?
No. Yes.
Yeah, goodbye.
No. Okay. So Rincon Valley Tap Room, also known as RV Tap Room, which is strangely enough in Rincon Valley, they're doing a big event this Saturday, which is getting donations from Fieldwork, Firestone, Sonoma Springs, Mraz Brewing, a whole bunch of other people I don't have the list of in front of me right now, as well as My Beer, as well as Ciders. They're like a bunch of places are all trying to do these big donation drive events. So, you know, if you want to come up and visit the North Bay and, you know, try to see it before everything else burns down, then come on over to Rincon Valley Tap Room this Saturday and, you know, try some stuff, and there's going to be a lot of donations going in towards it.
Perfect. That sounds good, Steve.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you taking the time, and get back to kicking.
All right. Thanks a bunch, man. Yeah, take care, you guys.
All right, dude. You too, man.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Fucking shady Steve.
Still shady.
Yeah. Terrible stuff, people, but, you know, we got to talk about it because it's happening. It's happening to our people. It's happening to listeners and friends and family. So that's just that's what it is. But stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to wrap up with Christopher Graham from More Beer and do Warren's Twitter game and then hopefully eat some food.
Oh, yes.
We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and freshest ingredients and the best customer service in the business. Check out their brand new patent-pending Mash and Boil 110-volt electric mashing and boiling unit. This compact all-stainless unit lets you mash, sparge, and boil just about anywhere that has a 110-volt plug. Double-wall construction adds to efficiency and safety, and a precise thermostat keeps temperatures where you want them. Unlike insulated buckets and converted coolers, multiple temperature rest mashing is easy to do, all for under $300. They also feature the Mark II work pump, a magnetic drive high temperature pump that does the work of pumps that cost twice as much, as well as exclusive Brewer's Edge regulators and quality Keg King kegs and disconnects. Check them out today at williamsbrewing.com to brews their vast selection. With over 20 years of experience making world-class craft beer and more than 100 gold medals in international competitions, Moylan's Brewing Company is not just a pretty face in craft beer. Just ask Brendan Moylan.
What do we got here? The beer of the hour. Moylan's, gotta love that big M. It's like a sign of awesomeness. Woo-hoo! It's got an extra kick to it. Let's pour this bad boy. Oh, yeah. Oh, Moylan's. The end of the night when the kids are finally in bed, the wife's in bed, nobody's bothering your ass anymore. That's Moylan's time. Moylan's is for you. Yeah. It's to help you out. Yeah. It helps me out.
What?
Well, because it's freaking awesome. Northern California brewed. It's brewed with love.
With love?
Oh, yeah. Tremendous. And it's always best where?
Moylan's.
You gotta try it. On tap at Moylan's in Novato. They're friggin' awesome. Not only because I own the brewery, because I love the beer.
Cheers!
Boom.
Kilt Lifter Scotch Ale takes big beers to a whole new level with rich malt balanced perfectly with delicate hops, and now comes in 4-pack tall boy cans so you can take the party on the go. Or come to the brewery, take a tour, and try any of Moylan's fresh creations right from the source. Check them out at moylans.com.
BN Army, have you heard the latest at Hop Tech? Since Hop Tech has doubled in size after a huge expansion, Jade and Roberto can stock even more of the best quality homebrewing supplies and equipment. Over 60 kick-ass varieties of hops and malts, monster truckloads of quality brewer's yeast, including White Labs, Y yeast, and multiple dry yeasts. They even have all grain systems from Grain Fathers and Ruby Street Brew Systems, thanks to Jade, the brand new all-grain brewer. And don't forget about their 10% discount to all BN Army members. Jade and Roberto are waiting for you and all of your brewing questions over at Hoptech.com. Hoptech, totally not sucking since 1983.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zainashev, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com.
All right, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Before we get back to Chris, I want to tell you guys about How to Brew. The new version is out, and it's ready, and it's chock full of extra Johns. Apparently, John added a bunch of new Johns to his John. But anyway, check it out. How to Brew for you. It's the best book out there. That's the one we've always recommended at More Beer, right? How to Brew.
That's my favorite book.
I like it, and especially it's expanded and whatever, all that kind of fun stuff. Can you tell the live reads that I actually have copy for versus the live reads I have to make up on the spot?
A little.
It's very annoying. I'm annoyed at myself that I have to do it, but
you should practice.
It is what it is, right?
Well, yeah, they're great and stuff
and things. Yeah. Also, don't ever forget the things.
Oh, I would never forget the things.
What are you drinking there, Christopher?
Session beer.
Okay, is it good?
Berryessa. I haven't tried it yet. You can see by the.
Yeah, it's still got a good head on it.
Try it right now.
Right live.
No pressure.
Yeah.
Don't spill.
Spit it out like Shada.
You should.
Do some folio work.
Tastes like a session IPA.
There you go. Okay, so where did we leave off? We left off with the giant chart, I believe, in Brew Your Own.
We left off with some sadness, and then
well, that's
we'll
true.
Come back
yeah,
to
that's true.
Again.
All right,
pimping ain't easy.
So we have this chart of all the exist. Are these all the brewing systems in existence?
These are all in existence, viable today type things. All like semi-automatic, I would say.
Okay,
you have to clean out and things like that, but for the most part, all of these systems
keep your sparge water hot and your mash temperature.
Exactly,
and all that
they all have some form of automation built into them.
Okay.
So that's kind of like Brewhouse, and then I think one of the more exciting areas of like the brew process that you can now start doing things for a reasonable amount of money, and is fermentation.
Okay,
I will toot our horn in that. From More Beer brought conicals, temp-controlled conicals, and regular conicals to homebrewing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
98, I want to say.
No.
Oh, before it was cool.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It was before we were preaching that you need to maintain temperature control.
And Colin.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Colin, 99 probably.
Sure. Let's go with that.
Let's go with that. That sounds good. Reasonable. Plausible. But all of a sudden, and then, Blitman came along.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say copied us, but pretty close to doing that. He did a good job. But then he
expanded on the idea, maybe. I don't know.
And then a few more stainless players came in, and then SS, I think, revolutionized it by making a super affordable piece. Quite well made, too. So it's made us all be better at what we do. It's made our prices have gone down on temp-controlled conicals and regular conicals, and so have Blitmans, and we all have to compete. So, that part of fermentation's, now matching the brew house. You have these beautiful brew houses, and all of a sudden you don't have a plastic water jug that you're fermenting in.
Right.
You got these awesome stainless things. And then I think what's just about to hit on a regular mainstream is glycol.
Really?
You know, there's a
Actual
couple
jacketed
glycol, small homebrew glycol units to start with. And then jacketing will obviously fall with that.
Or
But
you can put like an inexpensive belt around it too. Just
you could do, and who wants to cheapen up this awesome looking thing? So we'll start
except
welding
the glycol,
channels.
obviously, you're going to get to what the price.
Yeah. And so all of a sudden, there's about, as you talked about NAC last year, you walk around and there's about 6 new glycol systems about to hit the market. And it's funny because all of those were like, it's coming next month, and none of them have hit till now.
Which I think is standard.
Well, you got to be
that,
if you ain't
right?
first, you're last.
Right.
And so you got to say it at least.
Yeah.
But that's about to be the normal thing.
Okay.
And I, so if I had my choice between my temp control conicals versus glycol, I would say it depends which one you want. Like the glycol's awesome in that you can hold whatever you want off fermentation and you can cold crash after.
Right.
But you now end up with, for something that's semi-portable, it's no longer portable. By the time you get your glycol lines running to it, it's a hard thing. Now you have lines on the ground, things like that. And that's so the flip side is then you have a temp control conical, which is self-contained.
You don't put it on wheels like the.
It's on wheels, but it can't cold crash. It can't crash that fast.
Right.
So it has its pros and cons to it.
Right. Okay. Another system that when it fails, it makes a nasty mess.
Which one? All of them.
The glycol one.
Oh.
Well, compared to just like the electric Peltier chips and all that stuff.
Right.
So that's about to be like the new norm is everybody doing temp control fermentation, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
Like we talked about earlier, is you could buy some of these systems, these temp control system or brewing systems. I see a 15,000 here, a 25,000 here. You can spend 22,000 there. You can spend that kind of money on these systems.
$22,000, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Buy two.
Buy two.
I mean,
yeah. 44 sounds better.
In case one gets dirty.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to clean it.
Right.
Just throw it away.
Yeah. These are single use, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it's like without this fermentation side, what's the point? Like, I mean,
that's always been the big hurdle.
If you're saying like, oh, don't worry, I have a room that always stays 70 degrees.
Right.
I've heard that so many times in my life that I'm like, I don't care what temp the room is. I care what temp the ferment is. Like, so anyway, I think that's like in the pimpin' world. Having a glycol-controlled fermenter is just that's about it.
Oh yeah.
Pimp
All right. So how many gallons of these units typically?
They're doing like 20 BTU units all the way, or 20,000 BTU units.
And how many gallons would that be? Like 5 gallons? Or
no, more like 7 5-gallon fermenter type.
Oh yeah. These are way overpowered.
So for the home brewer.
Yeah,
Correct.
even these ones like
for
the
home
Grandfather people are making one that'll do 3 5-gallon fermenters.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking. How much is something like that?
Yeah, 1,500 for the unit, and then about 1,000 per fermenter.
And how is it applied to the fermenter?
It has its own little temp controller per fermenter, so that's cool. So it keeps each one independently controlled, and then it has a little pump and just 2 tubings
and a belt that goes around.
Yeah, and it's a single band on those, so they're not trying to do it really properly with any kind of zones or anything. But at least it's getting the bulk of it down to the temperature.
A little bit of natural circulation by temperature is going to be pretty good.
Some other companies will come along and make better ones eventually. But
oh yeah, that's what happens. But they're getting the ball rolling.
Right.
Exactly. They're making it a norm, which is like it takes people getting into this to become a norm.
Yeah.
I remember distinctly at a trade show or some homebrew fest where someone didn't know we were behind him, and he's like, "Yeah, look at those more beer jerks like selling temp control conicals. Who's going to spend that kind of money on that thing?" You will eventually.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of it is that I think this show works for anybody in brewing or wants to get into brewing because there are these people.
Yeah.
They're the people who want to go the cheap, the people who want to go expensive.
Yeah.
And just because they want to spend a lot of money doesn't mean that they shouldn't be allowed to.
And that's what's cool about the pimpin' side of this. The high end is essentially the whole concept of anything you can now get at a professional brew house. You can almost find the equivalent.
Exactly.
Maybe not quite right, but the equivalent on
a
the
spunding valve or whatever. We don't have that.
No, I mean, you can strap one on a conical.
There's lots of spunding valves now.
Yeah.
Well, not the spunding, but the zygolymeter, the thing, the dispensing, the pigtail, the thing.
The what?
The Zang-Nagel?
Yeah.
Are you talking about the carbonation tester?
Sure, dude. I don't know. I'm just trying to fucking talk.
Anybody can buy a $1,200 carbonation tester if they want.
Right.
I mean, who doesn't need a Zang-Nagel?
Right.
Is that what a carbonation tester is? Is a Zang-Nagel? The thing
that's
that, like,
the
works,
company's
it's under
name.
pressure, then you can pull it off like they did at Sierra Nevada for us when we were drinking Celebration.
You're talking about a pigtail.
Yes, that's what I said.
Just a coily
pigtail.
piece of stainless steel
that's
tubing.
about as cheap as it gets. That's just a pigtail.
Yeah.
But you don't sell them. That's right. Or
Well,
do
I don't
people
have
homebrew
200 barrel fermenters.
But you don't. Never mind.
Pressures aren't that great.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you need a pressure-capable fermenter for that to be a problem.
Okay.
We have sample ports built into our fermenter.
See, that's all that we need.
Yeah, there's your pigtail right there.
See?
So get to the final sides of Pimpin' Brewing, and I think that really comes down to the brew room itself.
Okay.
You know, you're starting to see more and more people have these, like, just awesome brew rooms. We get people sending in pictures, and they have, like, French door openings to sloped concrete to center drains,
urethane-coated floors
to water hoses to clean the floor off that retracts to the ceiling.
Really?
Well, Doc had most of that, but it was.
But this guy, this is beyond that.
Doc's was cool, but it was the size of his room.
Right? Yeah.
These guys have ones that are like 20 by 20, all glass around it, and then they have another building.
These are like human beings who exist in the world
so
today.
So they moved out their antique cars and moved into breweries. Is that what they did? These guys,
probably. And these guys seem to be in the southeast for some reason. They group there or something.
Yeah, California's too expensive. That's why.
Sure. Yeah. This other guy has one room like that, and then his other room is his serving room. And, you know, it's equally as beautiful. TVs everywhere.
I wonder how often that actually gets used, right? Like maybe for Super Bowl or for like a couple things. But, you know, is he there weekly? I don't know.
Maybe his servants, you know, go get a beer.
Yeah, on their break when they get one weekly.
Am I allowed to take my shift beer now?
Yeah, your weekly shift beer.
But I think that's like something we're seeing more and more as people with, like, you know, no longer man caves. These are like full on bars that aren't bars.
Personal bars.
These are personal bars.
Good. Can we get away from the man cave phrase?
Oh, that's the worst term. Yeah.
Man bar.
I don't know.
I mean, some of these have bathrooms.
Home. Just go home.
Literally, that's how cool these are, and I want
their own
this.
bathroom.
Wow. I mean, they may be just a urinal with a little like a little
barrier
curtain.
Yeah,
you know, like don't mind me.
Yeah.
But still, like even if I had a tree in my backyard, I could use. That'd be great.
You could build the room around a tree.
That'd be very eco-friendly. I mean, I like that.
I guess. Yeah.
Well, the tree might not appreciate it.
You're sitting there smelling urine.
But when you have a dedicated space that you're allowed to drink your beer in at home, that's like a whole new level.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, for me, it's hiding, crying in the closet, like while I sneak a beer
in
my
Daddy's
kids
closet.
Now so far.
You're making me nervous, Chris.
Yeah, children are great.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
But in that vein, if you can't have one of those, kegerators are suddenly very affordable for good ones.
Really?
Think like
compared to a 400 square foot room.
Yeah,
it's your own bar. Yeah.
But like when I first bought my first real kegerator, which I still have, which was the brand True.
Yeah,
that's like a $1,200 kegerator, and it's commercial quality compressor.
Right,
all that.
You got to do because you work at a place.
Well, and when the power goes on, the lights dim a little bit. I mean, it uses that much power.
Yeah, that's how you know it's working.
Yeah. And now
see that meter spin.
We're selling a line of ones out of Australia, and these are made for homebrew, which is cool.
Okay,
you fit 3 kegs in them.
6
homebrew style kegs for what $560, and they're digital temp controlled. They have their own separate fan unit for the tower, which they call a font.
Nice.
I still have a hard time.
A font?
A font.
A font.
Like a writing.
Like a writing font, like Arial or whatever.
Is that Australian for fan?
No, it's Australian for tower.
Oh.
Yeah, so it takes me a while.
So it's got a font.
A font fan. That's exactly what they call it.
Okay.
But anyway, it's got
Good
a
to know.
separated fan, so if you're going to have a party, you can turn that on and have cold air blowing up there.
Keep the temperature.
Wow.
So those are things like you can actually afford now.
Yeah.
Somewhat afford.
That's still a pretty good deal, man.
Yeah.
Because those true kegerators are like what, $1,000 or something like that.
Starting out,
yeah.
And they're
loud. And they're loud as fuck too.
They're great for a bar. Like here would be awesome because they're going to last 10, 20 years of daily use. Where who knows, this home thing might be like 5 years of use, but that's still pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe it'll be 20. Who knows? And the Vessi was the last thing, which is I think is one of the cooler things out there, which Whirlpool makes, which is a fermenter and serving vessel in one. So it's a pressure vessel that you could drop tube and all that, carbonate up, and serve right out of.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is it refrigerated, or is it small enough to fit in a fridge?
No, it's refrigerated.
The unit itself is standalone?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a Whirlpool product, so it's the same floor plan as a washer, dryer, or dishwasher.
What size batches does it do?
5 gallons.
5 gallons, okay.
Underneath it?
Right, yeah.
That would be killer. Do my laundry
get a microwave combi unit.
I'm trying to... Oh, okay, there it is. Okay, so it looks like a conical... Looks like basically they took a kegerator and then hollowed it out and basically
put a conical in it.
They hung a conical in it.
Yeah. I got you. And that's 5 gallons?
I have seen pictures of that.
So my ultimate goal is to get a brewery in that, and then just, you brew your brew day. Brewery takes you all the way through cooling.
Right.
And then you just hit a button to transfer it. It goes into the Vessi, pitch my yeast, and then drink the beer a couple of weeks later, and I'm done.
That seems like something that they could do easily.
Oh, yeah.
And even make it stacking. So the whole brewery fits in a closet.
We're trying to get those two to talk to each other.
Side by side?
Yeah, right, yeah. Have a stacked version.
Yeah, a top loader versus a front loader.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I love it.
So is there a 5 gallon Grainfather would be one.
The fully automated one, the only 5 gallon is brewery. That's fully automated. Like you put your grains in, your hops in the chamber.
So in our context, if you just transfer it over into the Vessi, that would be the one that you'd probably have.
And the brewery's cool because you have water hookups too. Oh. So you don't even have to go hook up for cooling. It's already hooked up to water.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it does the filling of water to start with, how much is needed.
And it's an outdoor garage kind of system.
No, it's an indoor. It's electric.
I mean, the people use it in your kitchen, you would say? With pressurized water hooked up to it, stuff like that? I don't know about you, man, but
I use one of my tests.
I don't water when I'm out brewing outside, but I do all the time. I don't know, just everywhere. Just once a go.
I mean, if it's in your kitchen, it's a little weird because then you can't use your sink if you're dedicated that water line.
Well,
they made this for a light industrial kind of. I mean, obviously the same reason as Zymatic made the Pico.
Yeah.
And so they just took the Pico one step further by saying just hook water in and we'll take care of the water fill. So you have to calibrate it. That's one other thing. They have load sensors.
So it actually chills it down to pitching temperature.
Yeah, you choose what pitch temp you want, and it'll just keep running till it gets there.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Has it got a Vessi pathway?
Not yet, but I'm trying to get them to talk to each other. I'm trying to get Vessi out of their exclusive contract with one company that can sell their stuff, and then get them to talk to each other.
You need to break that shit.
I'm working on it.
Just get Fritz to make a competing model. Yeah. Do the Maytag version.
Maytag. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd love to do that.
Yeah. He just got out of the beer industry.
Petro Hill.
Get right back in.
He wants to lose money.
Yeah.
Is that it, Chris?
That's all I got.
Wow. Good work, my friend. Good work.
We went cheap and we pimped it out.
We did. We did do that. Speaking of going cheap, no, I'm not going to read that. With that
Is that my contract or something?
It's definitely not your contract. I appreciate that, Chris. You put in a lot of work and, all that kind of fun stuff, man.
Yeah. So now go spend your money at morebeer.com.
Yes, please do. Okay, we have a few more house cleaning items to do before we can get out of here, Warren. Mainly your... what happened to my computer?
Mine.
Your Twitter game. Yeah, I'm sure you love the Twitter. You're like, fine, I got to do this Twitter game. Oh, actually, before...
Is that sponsored by Maytag?
Tonight it is.
It's sponsored by More Beer, actually. But before we get to the Twitter game, speaking of Blickman, go to greatfermentations.com. They have the largest catalog of Blickman products on the web. They have top-notch customer service and same-day shipping on many items. They are at greatfermentations.com. They're also all over social media at GR8 Fermentation. Nice folks, been with us for a long time. And if you have any questions on Blickman stuff, they're your people. All right, Warren.
All right.
Do me a favor. Remind us what our Twitter game was, please.
I was wanting to know what the next leak from the BN is going to be that's going to send shockwaves through the internet.
Okay. What's the BN leakage?
Well, the first leakage, I didn't understand it, but I included it, hoping that maybe somebody could explain it to me.
Sounds good.
The first one is from John Herman. It says...
Beijing John Herman.
Yeah. The JP's Grodzitsky is people. It's a people. Or sorry, it's people with more exclamation points after it.
Like Soylent Green.
It's like
made
what?
from people.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Good one, John.
When you have to explain a Twitter joke,
I think we got a winner.
It goes away.
Yeah. That's my vote.
Yeah.
Mainly because it mentions me.
Yeah. Mike Shoemaker says...
Paging Mr. Shoemaker. Doesn't work.
Tasty just died. He fell into a brew kettle during a collab. 69 breweries are brewing Janet's Brown in his honor.
69.
He said the sex number, so that's good.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Chris says the BN has been acquired by Constellation Brands for $215 billion and buys AB InBev for $213 to produce only hazy IPA.
Okay, all right, I like that one.
Brandon says Justin's feet have been amputated due to gout. To cover his medical costs, the BN is for sale for $50 or best offer.
Okay, yeah, Justin's feet. Justin has a foot problem, Chris. That's where it's from.
Not gout, though. Nerve things. Jeff says playing BN podcast backwards reveals hidden messages for craft brewers to sell out to AB InBev.
That's awesome.
Okay, all right.
Let's see.
I like that one. That's probably the most creative one I've heard in a long time, actually.
It's a good 1980s reference.
Since I started reading these a minute ago.
I can build a comedy series around that.
There you go. Let's see. Marcus says Jamel announces he's gone vegan and will be turning Heretic into an Abbey.
Okay. He had me with the vegan, but the Abbey I didn't.
Yeah. Let's see. And then lastly, Robert says the Fort Collins Hop Grenade is actually a dispensary and is run by Tasty, who is using all of his collab money to get Weinstein to promote the Low Hug.
The Low Hug.
Whoa.
Okay.
It's got layers.
I don't like to see my name in the same sentence.
It's got something. Okay, the three I liked were the Constellation one. What was that one again?
The BN got acquired by Constellation Brands for $215 and then bought AB InBev for $213 to make hazy IPA.
Make hazy IPA. Well, okay, I like it. I like it
a lot.
Although, we want to make money. So.
That would mean we got acquired for $215 billion.
It's true.
And we just kickstart the rest of it.
That would shake some shit up. I like the one about Justin's feet. Because you always got to kick a man when he's
right,
down.
Yeah.
That's just the rule.
Well, when he can't stand up.
Right. Right. He can lean, though.
He leans like a motherfucker.
Yeah. What was the feet one again?
Justin's feet have been amputated due to gout. To cover his medical expenses, the BN is for sale for $50 or best offer.
Ooh, his expenses. I like that.
His expenses.
I don't like that.
His medical costs, actually, is what the tweet says.
You're already making shit up, Warren.
Yeah. It sounded better, to be honest.
Thanks, Chris.
Good job, Warren.
I like Chris. Can we have him back?
Yeah, sure.
I have another opinion.
And I like the Backwards podcast.
Yeah, Jeff with playing BN backwards.
Anyone else that you guys want to add, or?
I like the Backwards podcast one.
I do too.
Yeah.
All right, Backwards podcast it is. There you go.
Way to go, Jeff.
Jeff, good job, buddy. Good job.
Yeah, spread the word. Listen to this backwards.
Chris, would you do a live read for me? Would you read this?
Sure.
Would you say you're comfortable reading things on the air?
It's not going to sound good.
Perfect.
Wow.
Just read that for me, please. Verbatim.
Just remember, you said yes already.
No, you already said yes.
You touched it last.
You already said
I
yes.
have a contract not to read.
Oh, what?
This is your internet fame right here.
I
Sure?
cannot believe that's a sponsor.
Oh, man. No, they've been a great sponsor, too, because
they give you money.
Because homebrewers are horny fucks.
Yeah, they get drunk and then they get real horny.
And they buy weird shit.
You don't go to Adam and Eve, you go to More Beer when you're drunk.
Maybe they do both. But see, you have to go to Adam and Eve after you go to More Beer.
Yeah, you're spent at that point.
No, you go to More Beer, you buy some shit, then you go to Adam and Eve.
Oh,
so you
after.
can please
After.
Exactly. Because your significant other's pissed that you spent so much money at More Beer.
The SO excuse, yeah.
Yes, right.
Yeah, I ordered a sculpture and here's a rabbit.
Right.
Let's go. You mentioned you have a lot of warehouse space there.
Yes.
You may want to consider opening up another division after you hear this ad. Just think about it.
Imagine the brewhouse connectivity.
The intersection of your demographic.
Right. Yeah. More beer.
Fill out our survey and let us know if you would buy. If you could get over your $59 free shipping by buying some.
Honey, you'll know when I hit mash temp. Adam and Eve is determined to help you spice things up in the bedroom, and they're backing up that ass and promise. Check this out. I added the ass part. It's not really in the copy.
Okay.
I added it.
Right ahead. That's good.
Thank you. Go to adamandeve.com and you get 50% off almost any one item when you enter offer code BNARMY at checkout. But pack by I'm so flustered.
It used to be going really well.
Well, all the blood is draining from my head, so I can't. Now back by popular demand and for a limited time only, of course, you'll also get the free Big O kit, Chris. And who doesn't love the Big O?
Is it an O-ring kit to rebuild my car? Or?
Yeah, it's just a really big one.
Some people call them orgasms.
Gotcha.
I don't know what that is. Neither does my wife. Adam and Eve's Big O kit includes their exclusive Climax gel, whatever a Climax is, and a mini vibrator. You'll also get your entire order sent to you for free. So hurry up, take advantage of this limited time offer. You can choose a new adult toy, a naughty movie, or almost anything else. When you choose that one item at 50% off, you get the free shipping, you'll get the kit, you'll get the gel and the little mini vibrator guy. You won't find this anywhere else on this channel. Just go to adamandeve.com, use offer code BNARMY at checkout.
Now, are they doing donations up to Napa as well?
They should.
I mean, you got to get people feeling back to normal again.
Right.
The Big O kit.
Yeah, who doesn't even know?
No, I mean, all your,
That could be the
married couple stuff got all burnt up in the fire.
That could be the More Beer division. More O's.
More O's.
Yeah,
moreos.com.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah.
And you could have, yeah.
And then answering the phone will be a whole different experience.
Gels and stuff.
Yeah. You can even say the full name: O's, and more O's.
Yeah.
That's retro.
Retro.
Speaking of
the next board meeting.
Speaking of something that's not retro, go to beersmith.com. Brad at Beersmith works hard to make sure all the calculations and software upgrades and things like that go well for you. You get a 21-day free trial. Beersmith.com. Upgrade your brewing. If you're not going to buy a $25,000 beer system, you might as well at least treat yourself to Beersmith if you're not on there already.
You want both, really. We didn't even talk about the in-between to the hardware.
Right.
Which we can.
You got to have that.
I guess we'll have to have you back.
We'll come back. God damn it. I guess we'll have to have you back.
Yeah, no, it's a series.
We'll have to schedule with his kids. See when we can get him next.
I can bring them in and I won't come in.
That'd be great. What are you guys drawing? Daddy drinking.
They know what I'm doing.
Daddy hiding. Chris, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
For coming in, of course. Morebeer.com.
Apparently, I didn't drink enough to give anything away.
You didn't?
Wow. You even had a
Well, we
Pliny.
don't really have that many live listeners anymore, so it's kind of... Ever since we moved to Mondays, it kind of just shoots it, but...
Turns out people work.
Yeah.
I'll give the Live Oak kit to somebody.
If you want to give the Twitter winner something, you can do that.
High five, buddy.
Oh, hear that? You got a high five.
Oh, all right. Okay, and thank you again to Chris. Thank you to Vinny and Natalie, of course, from Russian River. Thank you to Shady Steve from Shady Oak Barrel House. Take care of yourselves and your community. You guys are doing a great job. And again, if you have any spare cash lying around, you can throw it at one of these organizations raising money and really just trying to help people get back up on their feet. That would be much appreciated. I would appreciate it. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you very much, everybody, and we will be back. I think we're off next week, but I don't know. Check the schedule.
JP's an asshole. He's funny, he's balding, he's homeless and rude. The Brewcasters love him and gay guys do too. JP's an asshole. Sometimes he's real funny. We laugh at his wit. The youngie just wishes he could brew worth of shit. JP's an asshole. Justin's a nice guy and winning the race. JP does great as his cherry